inmate, but have not released the name or exact charges. All right, your weather for today. It's going to be not so bad today. Afternoon highs around 82 with maybe a little bit of sunshine, and a stray rain shower is possible, but cooler weather is on the way. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. Now to Dunwoody, where police are investigating a shooting this afternoon that critically injured a teenage girl outside a Waffle House.
Police say 5 girls were leaving the restaurant, called for a ride, but when he arrived, the Uber driver, 38-year-old Meredith Grundy, said he did not have room in his vehicle for the group. Grundy says the girls then got angry and one threatened him and even hit him. He fired shots at that girl, striking her several times. Dunwoody Police Sergeant Michael Cheek says the girls deny those claims and police took Grundy into custody.
Ultimately charged the driver who fired those shots with aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony.
He's in the DeKalb County Jail. The teenager is in critical but stable condition. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Update on a story from Atlanta's Morning News. A man suspected in the deaths of 2 siblings in DeKalb County is now locked up this noon.
DeKalb County Police confirmed 25-year-old Stephen Christopher Mathis was arrested by Henry County Police. He's now being held at the DeKalb County Jail on murder charges. Officers found a man and woman dead Monday night at the East Perimeter Point Apartments in Decatur. The DeKalb Medical Examiner confirms the victims were a brother and sister, 34-year-old Christopher Lewis and 32-year-old Brandy Lewis. Investigators believe the killings were domestic related. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
All new on your lunch hour, law enforcement in North Georgia announcing the arrest of 11 people on charges related to human trafficking and child sexual exploitation. The GBI's Brian Johnston says multiple agencies, including the Bartow and Forsyth County Sheriff's Departments, took part in this operation. It's called Hands Off Our Kids, and he says cooperation is critical in cases like this.
We cannot do this as an agency alone. No individual agency can tackle this problem.
He says so far this year, the GBI has received 38,000 cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The city of Woodstock is taking part in National Night Out today. It's an annual event aimed at promoting police-community partnerships.
It's about getting to know the officers and the first responders who serve our Woodstock community in a fun and relaxed environment.
That is Audrey Jones with Woodstock Police. She tells me the event is from 5 until 8 in downtown Woodstock. There will be a helicopter there as well as games, music, and food. They hope to have folks bring their kids out after school today. She says the event like this will help build trust between neighbors and law enforcement going forward. Now, a controversial topic, banned books in schools. As we are in the middle of Banned Books Week 2025, it was set aside by the American Library Association and Banned Books Week Coalition.
The theme this year is Censorship is So, 1984, Read for Your Rights. It was chosen because of the rise in attempts to ban books in libraries, schools, and bookstores around the country. Amanda Sanders works at the South Cobb Library Branch.
It just has people thinking about what is going on in the world in terms of book challenges.
Sanders says banned books such as 1984 and Handmaid's Tale are on display this week, and patrons can create a one-of-a-kind banned books bookmark at the South Cobb Branch. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
It's 12:03. A new memo suggesting that furloughed workers are not guaranteed back pay. The Office of Management and Budget memo cites a line in the amended version of the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act of 2019 stating furloughed workers will receive back pay, quote, subject to the enactment of appropriations acts ending the lapse. House Speaker Mike Johnson was asked about that earlier today.
Our legal analysts who think that that is not something that government should do, that if that is true, that should turn up the urgency and the necessity of the Democrats doing the right thing here.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and other Democrats are adamant that unless the deal is struck on expiring Affordable Care Act tax credits, that they will not provide the votes needed to fund the government. And as the shutdown is now in day 7, transportation correspondent Gio Benitez says that there are concerns about air safety, with air traffic controllers calling out sick.
Secretary of Transportation warning of nationwide issues.
Absenteeism as a concern. Again, we've had a few airports and we're tracking it. We don't have one facility that has had long-term issues with the sick leave, but that is concerning to me.
And all of this could also cause delays for those flying during the shutdown. And it's the lunch hour, so check your freezer. Federal health officials have issued a warning today about certain HelloFresh meals that some spinach in some of those meals tested positive for listeria. Those do include the HelloFresh cheesy pulled pork pepper pasta and unstuffed peppers with ground turkey. There have been no reports so far of any illnesses. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is down 191 at 46,503. So the Dow's down almost 0.5%. NASDAQ is down more than 0.5%, and the S&P's down a little less than 0.5% right right now. It's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams, how we doing on the roads?
Well, right now, if you're in the traveling between Buckhead and Brookhaven, you're going to need to be aware of these traffic lights that are still blinking red, and everybody is fending for themselves here. Buford Highway, Lennox Road, Cheshire Bridge Road, that intersection is where the traffic lights are flashing red. Best idea, treat that intersection as a four-way stop as you encounter that issue. Still got the left lane construction continuing into Cobb County, 285 southbound, the inner loop, Glenwood Road exit 44, causing a few brake lights back up toward Memorial Drive. And if you're traveling on I-20 eastbound on the West Freeway, right lane's bunching up between Fulton Industrial Boulevard and I-285. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All right, your 5-day forecast is sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
A mix of sun and clouds through this afternoon, heating up to a high of 82. Mostly cloudy for tonight with rain showers after midnight into the early morning hours. Morning lows will be in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 83. Then much colder air moving in for Thursday. Partly cloudy and breezy, high 68. The northeast wind gusting 25 miles per hour. Morning lows dropping down to the mid-50s for Friday. Partly cloudy skies Friday afternoon with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 76.
More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Your noon keyword is MORE, M-O-R-E, MORE. Enter the keyword MORE into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword and win. The keyword is MORE, M-O-R-E, MORE. Good luck.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. I am delighted to have you with me today as the government shutdown rolls on. Republicans seem a little bit in disarray all of a sudden, and the Democrats appear to be united, but I have good sources on Capitol Hill and inside the White House and even among some of the Democrats. And I'm here to tell you the plot is thickening on Capitol Hill as the pain has started to be felt. So let's just take people traveling through airports. The slowdowns start today. The FAA warning that they will be reducing the number of air traffic controllers, but not just that. The number of TSA agents will also be reduced. So, you know, when I travel through Atlanta, I go through a private terminal. I don't fly private. I wish. Fly Delta, but I go through a private terminal that has a TSA checkpoint inside that terminal, and they announced today that it is closing, and so you'll essentially be taken through the main terminal. Those people who are in the main terminal are going to see a reduced number of checkpoints at airports around the country. Hartsfield-Jackson, Tudeed Mayers International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, the busiest airport in the nation, is going to start seeing reductions in traffic or TSA agents in their international terminal and their domestic terminal. Lines will build. New York as well. It's not a coincidence, I think, that Atlanta, Jon Ossoff is the senator who continues to vote to keep the government closed. So as you are going through the long lines at Tudeed Mayers International Airport in Atlanta, Georgia, you can blame Jon Ossoff for continuing to vote for the government shutdown. In New York, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are to blame, and the New York lines are going to get long. LAX, long. Chicago, long lines. It's not a coincidence. Not everything is political, but some things are. Where the TSA and FAA shorten operations has a lot to do with who's in charge in the Senate. And in a place like Georgia, New York, Chicago, Illinois, California, and San Francisco and LAX, you got Democrats in charge who are continuing to shut it down. So their constituents are going to feel the pain. Just as when Democrats were in charge and Republicans shut it down, Republican constituents felt the pain. Well, those of us in Georgia, we voted for Donald Trump. We've got Republican governments, but Ossoff and Warnock are in Washington. They keep voting to shut down the government, so their shutdown vote will cause long lines in the Atlanta airport, LaGuardia, JFK, O'Hare, LAX, San Francisco. You're all going to feel the pain. Well done, Democrats. Meanwhile, the Republicans are concerned that Donald Trump wants to cut a deal, and Donald Trump just might want to cut too good of a deal.
What kind of and I'm talking about good things with regard to health care. Are you speaking with Democratic leaders? What kind of well, I don't want to say that. But we are speaking with the Democrats, and some very good things could happen with respect to health care.
Would you make a deal with them on the ACA subsidies?
Well, if we made the right deal, I'd make a deal, sure.
So you would make
I mean, you have right now subsidies. You have subsidies. That's the problem with Obamacare. The subsidies are so much. It's billions and billions of dollars is being wasted. And we can have a much better health care than we have right now And we're talking to them. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen because this has also been going on, not for 3,000 years, but it's been going on for a long time. But yeah, we're talking to the Democrats.
You would work to make a deal with them on...
I'd like to see a deal made for great health care. Yeah, I want to see great health. I'm a Republican, but I want to see health care much more so than the Democrats.
Now, therein lies the problem for the Republicans. They're actually more and more concerned that the president wants a bigger deal than the Republicans in Congress want to give the Democrats. And the Democrats in Washington expect the president will out-negotiate his Republican colleagues on a health care deal. They actually, the Democrats and Republicans both on Capitol Hill, think that Trump will give the Democrats much more of what they want than the GOP will. So Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, particularly in the Senate, have scrambled. Behind the scenes, they're working with a handful of Democrats, trying to persuade them to reopen the government. Here's the way the deal is going to work. Thus far, I'm told it is tentative, and it involves shutting out Chuck Schumer. Part of the reason for shutting out Chuck Schumer is because Schumer can't afford a deal. He could get primaried if he cuts a deal. After all, Schumer's one of the ones who says Trump's the second coming of Hitler. You can't fund Hitler. And it's got to be a clean continuing resolution that passes the Senate. It's got to be the House's resolution. Why? If the Senate makes any changes to the House's resolution, it goes back to the House. Any changes make it more difficult to get through the Republican House, and the Democrats in the House are refusing to vote for it because they don't want to be accused of having voted to fund ICE. They say the deportations and the like are Nazi-esque. They can't afford for this shutdown legislation to go back to the House. They've got to have the Senate do a clean resolution. So you've got a handful of Democrats. Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire is not running for re-election. She voted with the Republicans on the Laken Riley Act. You've got Dick Durbin, who's not running for re-election, who has always been considered privately a little more moderate than his public prognostications. Mark Warner of Virginia, his voters, federal employees, are about to lose their jobs after tomorrow. By the way, Russ Vought has deleted from OMB guidance that furloughed employees will get back pay. They're not entitled to it necessarily. Congress would have to approve it. John Ossoff of Georgia is one of the Democrats who other Democrats say could potentially break with Chuck Schumer and vote to reopen the government. John Ossoff in Georgia has the most trafficked airport in the world, and it's starting to experience extreme slowdowns in security checkpoints by design. He has multiple military installations. He's got Fort Stewart. He's got Dobbins. He's got Robbins. I'm going to get a million people. I'm sorry. I got a lot of listeners, and it is because the name changed, and now they've changed the name back. Over in the Columbus area, you've got, what's the military installation, folks? Wait, don't text me, please. I know it's down there. It is the National Infantry Museum in Fort Benning. See, don't text me. Stop, Fort Benning. People are going to overwhelm me with text messages now. So you got Fort Benning. You got Fort Stewart. You got Robbins Air Base. You've got Dobbins Air Base. You've got the submarine base down in Kingsland, Georgia. You've got a lot of major military installations in the St. Mary's area, along the coast. John Ossoff in a difficult position down there. So Democrats are expecting that you've already got Angus King and you got John Fetterman. You got to have 5 of them. So you have Fetterman, you have King already, you get Shaheen, you get Durbin. You might get Elise Slotkin from Michigan, maybe John Ossoff. You might get Mark Warner from Virginia. That gives you 8, enough to offset the vote of Rand Paul, who's voting no because he doesn't think that the continuing resolution cuts enough. Suddenly, you got enough votes to reopen the government. In exchange, what you will get is Republican legislation authored in cooperation with these Democrats. See, it's designed if John Ossoff goes along with it so Ossoff can get some credit to campaign on. And Republicans still think they can beat him. But he's induced to sign on. And it'll be designed to extend health care benefits to American citizens. It will not fund illegal aliens, and will be clear that it doesn't fund illegal aliens. And the polling shows the Democrats and Republicans that it's a winning argument for the GOP if the Democrats insist on funding health care for illegal aliens. So these more moderate, supposedly Democrats, will reopen the government and stab Chuck Schumer in the back. Now, here's the issue. Schumer can't afford to go along with reopening the government with any sort of deal because, again, Trump is Hitler. We can't fund Hitler. Schumer backs the shutdown. So Schumer is even expecting these Democrats to work behind his back to get the government open and structure a health care deal that Schumer will then play a role in so he can take some credit. Here's a problem for Schumer. The progressive base, if they reopen the government and they let Hitler go back to Hitlering, they're going to want punishment for those Democrats who reopen the government. This is one of the wavering points on Jon Ossoff in Georgia because he's not going to be challenged by the left. But they may not do a lot to help him, and he needs their help, so he can't afford to completely alienate them. The rest of them don't care. Shaheen doesn't care. Durbin doesn't care. Several of the others don't care. So they open this up, and then they get a health care bill. And this is the problem for the GOP at this point. The Republicans are afraid that Donald Trump will give away everything. Donald Trump wants to go big or go home. The Republicans don't want to. Whatever is funded has to get through the House of Representatives. And the Republican leaders at this point are saying behind the scenes that they can risk alienating some of the House Freedom Caucus in exchange for Democrat votes. So it'll be a bipartisan health care measure. Now, this will alienate the far left in the House because they don't want any bipartisan measures. They want to be seen as fighting Donald Trump nonstop. The question, however, is when do they do it? And the speculation among Republican senators in the know is not until after October 18th. So you got another week and then some of the government being closed. October 18th is next Saturday. Republicans do not think that the government will open before next Saturday. Why? There's a massive, massive progressive protest scheduled to happen in Washington, D.C. And the thinking from Republicans on Capitol Hill is that if the Democrats were to open the government before October 18th, they will risk the fury of the progressive base. Here's Tom Cotton. He was on Fox News with Dana Perino.
Dana, the real-world consequences are going to start piling up here.
The internet's
that'll help the Democrats come to their senses. As President Trump said, as Speaker Johnson and Senator Thune have said all along, there's nothing to negotiate until the Democrats vote to open the government. If they want to talk about giving taxpayer-funded health care to illegal aliens at that point, then they're certainly welcome to do so. But they need to open the government. You started to see some consequences yesterday with these air traffic delays out in California. Later this week, the Women, Infants, and Children's Nutritional Program is probably going to run out of money. That means poor moms with kids may not be able to buy milk and eggs and breads for their kids. We're going to have delays for civilian employees' paychecks later this week, then troop paychecks next week. These are all because the Democrats refuse to open the government, and then they can negotiate about health care, immigration, or anything else. And frankly, Dana, what we started hearing around the Senate yesterday is that there's a big left-wing rally in Washington, D.C. next Saturday, October 18th. And Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are so scared of their own radical left-wing base, they plan to keep the government shut until after that rally, and only then will they vote to keep the government open. They shouldn't be playing political games with nutrition for kids and our troops' pay. They should vote to open the government today.
That's Tom Cotton, senator from Arkansas. He's right, by the way. They are scared of the progressive base. I mean, these Democratic leaders have been telling the Democratic base that Donald Trump is the second coming of Hitler. And their solution is to fund Hitler as long as they can extend health care benefits. That's not much of a fight against Donald Trump when you think he's the second coming of Hitler. You can keep Hitlering, just give illegal aliens health care benefits. NPR, PBS, they're off the table. They're not going to be funded. Republicans are prepared to cut a deal on health care. Democrats not prepared to open the government before October 18th. Everyone tends to be in agreement that this is the state of play. It is subject to change at any moment. But the Republicans do expect that after you get through next Saturday's big progressive rally, you will see some of the Democrats come forward, willing at that point to reopen the government in exchange for a negotiated health care plan that they won't actually talk about negotiating until after October 18th, even though the framework is already being prepared at this moment.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching the left lane construction on the east side in DeKalb, 285 southbound, the Interloop Glenwood Road exit 44. Now they're blocking the left lane on the other side of the wall, so it's left lane road work both ways on 285 at Glenwood Road. We also found some construction in Buckhead, right lane blocked, Peachtree Road northbound at Farr Road, causing some brake lights back toward East Wesley Road. Traffic brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Your noon keyword is MORE, M-O-R-E, MORE. Enter the keyword MORE into the WSB Radio app or online at WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword and win. The keyword is MORE, M-O-R-E, MORE. Good luck.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of Atlanta. You can't win if you don't enter. Enter now at overheaddooratlanta.com. That's overheaddooratlanta.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Don't be haunted by those old stains in your carpet. Call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning to get 3 rooms cleaned for only $129. Mention WSB when you call or schedule online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, it's the right way to clean.
We're having a party and you're invited. Join CenterWell Senior Primary Care for our free grand opening party. Come meet our care team and tour the new center. Plus, food, music, games, and more. Celebrate with CenterWell Woodstock on Thursday, October 16th at the corner of Bells Ferry Road and Eagle Drive from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Learn more at CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. That's CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. We'll see you soon.
A word of caution for motorcycle riders. Remember, 18-wheelers have bigger blind spots and it takes them longer to stop than a smaller vehicle. Eric Von Hassler here to remind you that if an 18-wheeler forces you to lay your bike down, you need to call in Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a motorcycle rider and he understands bikers' needs. Get more info and request a free Rider's Advantage card at steelhorselaw.com.
If you're seeing cracks in the walls upstairs, downstairs, or outside, maybe even a door not closing, call the Foundation Repair Specialist. Hi, it's Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack, and we are your leading foundation repair experts. Set up your free estimate right now at atlantaramjack.com.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It's Erick Erickson. 877-973-7425 is the phone number. Can I just... So I had a lady on Twitter named Jennifer, won't give her last name, who lit me on fire because I said I did not care, couldn't care less about Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. It was one of the wildest set yourself on fire exchanges I have actually encountered on my social media from somebody who she came unglued about Bad Bunny. And I bet most of you don't even know who Bad Bunny is. She says, I say, I couldn't care less about Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl. Of course you don't, because you only deal in the superficial. You, like David French, have no problem with institutions cramming crap down our throats because freedom or something you can't see that it's our freedom to determine what's acceptable in society is being taken away. It's not about being exhausted. I'm not at all. It's as I said in my original reply, they force this evil crap down average Americans' throats instead of reading the room and realizing this is not what Americans want or see as good entertainment. Are you a citizen or a subject? Jennifer, calm down. Yeah, they're a private business, and you don't have to watch it. And last year's Kendrick Lamar halftime show generated more eyeballs than the football game itself. They're in it for ratings. I happen to know something about ratings. Thanks to my listeners in Atlanta, I'm told I am the most listened to radio program for the 25 to 54 set in the metro Atlanta area for the last quarter. Thank you very much. The advertisers want the 25 to 54 set. The businesses want the 18 to 24 set, because if you become a loyal member and when you're 18 to 24, you become a lifelong consumer of the product. The NFL's trying to get the 18-year-olds in. You know who the most streamed person is on Apple Music and Spotify right now? Taylor Swift. That's who they wanted. You know who number 2 is on Apple Music and Spotify right now? Bad Bunny. He's also a WWE wrestler. From 2020 to 2023, he was the most streamed artist on streaming products. This isn't about you or me or Donald Trump. It's about they want the ratings he might bring to the halftime show so they can make big money. But you do you, people who just are convinced. Both sides are great at imputing motives on the other. Between bank collapses and the economy right now, Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash for some time. They would like to help you protect your hard-earned assets, and you can get their help and their free report on the secret war on cash. It takes less than 15 minutes to read, and it can save on your retirement and finances. All you have to do is call or text them at 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency, and it is growing. So get and read the Secret War on Cash report completely free. All you have to do is mention Eric, E-R-I-C-K, when you call or text 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or call or text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. Get this report completely free from Swiss America. Message and data rates may apply.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
all
app.
the notifications you need.
If you have the WSB app.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic,
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. The Supreme Court heard arguments today over Colorado's ban on mental health professionals providing conversion therapy to children, a practice that aims to change a client's sexual orientation or gender identity. Devin Dwyer has more.
The Colorado minor conversion therapy law says licensed therapists are not allowed to try to change behaviors or gender expressions, or try to eliminate or reduce same-sex attraction. But therapists are allowed to provide acceptance, support, and understanding as a child develops.
Now, Colorado and over 20 other states have banned the practice. Your weather for today: thinning out clouds and a little more sunshine later on with a high of 82. We do have a chance of a stray shower, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. A stabbing at the Fulton County lockup today. A jailer was stabbed by an inmate who used a shank this morning. The officer survived and is expected to make a full recovery. The inmate has been identified, but the name has not yet been released. Police investigating a shooting at a Waffle House on Chamblee-Dunwoody Road. It sent a 16-year-old to the hospital and an Uber driver to jail. Sergeant Michael Cheek with Dunwoody Police says 5 teenage girls had called the Uber for a ride really early Sunday morning.
They all tried to get into the Uber, and the Uber driver basically told them, hey, I don't have enough room for all of you, nor do I have enough seat belts.
The driver says he was threatened and assaulted by one of the girls, causing him to fire shots. The other girls say that didn't happen. The 16-year-old shooting victim's in critical but stable condition. The driver, identified as 38-year-old Meredith Grundy, now in jail and facing numerous charges. You got a little bit of time on your lunch break and you need a flu shot? There are drive-through flu clinics today in Cherokee and Fannin counties. So in Cherokee County, you can get your flu shot in Woodstock at the Woodstock Health Center on North Main Street between now and 2 this afternoon. In Fannin County, the clinic is in Blue Ridge at the Farmers Market there on Summit Street, and they're going to be there until 3 this afternoon. They'll provide flu vaccinations at no cost through most health insurance companies. And then if you are paying out of pocket, it'll be $25 for a regular flu vaccine. If you need the high-dose vaccine, that's for people 65 and older. That's going to cost you a little bit more, $65. It is 12:32.
It's the early Black Friday sale at Omaha Steaks. It's happening right now. I know we're in the holiday season. You got friends coming over at the end of the month for tricking and treating. You got the Thanksgiving planning and the Christmas planning. I saw somebody with Christmas decorations up the other day. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Omaha Steaks has you covered right now. OmahaSteaks.com. Everything is 50% off site-wide. An extra 20% off select favorites, and then you get $35 off with promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Go to omahasteaks.com today. Load up for this beautiful fall that we've got. This wonderful cool weather is here, and Omaha Steaks would love to help you out with a great deal. 50% off site-wide, an extra 20% off select favorites, and then use promo code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. Get $35 off. Y'all get the caramel apple tart. Let's get the New York strips. Get the shrimp. It's all so good.
Starting a business takes grit and fortitude, but to keep it going requires taking care of customers like family. That's our motto, and my family's been sticking to it for decades. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and you can count on Jape Services to provide quality care and price transparency for your home's heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. At Jape Services, we're a family-run business, and I personally guarantee to treat you like family as well. JapeServices.com.
Jape Services.
Water bugs, palmetto bugs, creepy, crunchy crawlies, whatever you call them, they're roaches and you want them gone. Meteorologist Christina Edwards here for Breda Pest Management. Many pest companies have stopped treating the inside of homes to save money, but it's the roaches inside you want gone. Breda's got your back. They'll protect the outside and inside of your home. Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters like roaches.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285 exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Don't wait any longer. Visit AquaGuard.net today to book your free inspection. Remember, AquaGuard.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams.
Double construction in DeKalb County. Left lane blocked both ways. 285 north and southbound at Glenwood Road, exit 44. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today. High 82. Rain showers arrive after midnight. Lows in the mid-60s.
We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. Some real talk now. Today is the second anniversary of the mass murder committed on October 7th with Hamas's invasion of Israel. 1,200 Israeli citizens killed. Let's not dance around the fact that though they have screamed about it and denied it, we actually do know they even throw a baby in an oven and baked the baby to death. They raped women so violently and aggressively that they were turned inside out. They beheaded people. They did horrible things. And today, around this country on college campuses, are Palestinian bake sales to protest Israel. That should tell you the level of evil that we are dealing with, the depravity and the evil, the unwillingness to recognize, to admit what happened in Israel. All the people who have screamed genocide for the last few months in Gaza are stunningly silent when it comes to getting Hamas to take a peace deal. They would rather the genocide continue, apparently, than have Hamas disarm. Tells you everything you need to know. The PR operation of the pro-Hamasnik crowd is remarkable to behold. I actually am genuinely impressed with their ability to get major newsrooms around the world to run falsehoods and only later retract them after people have gotten killed, incited by the falsehoods. Let's not forget the attack in Boulder, Colorado, several attacks in Europe, the killings of the 2 embassy employees in Washington, D.C., et cetera, all coming after the media reported false, salacious, disturbing stories about what Israel had done, only to retract them later. Israel is the only nation on planet Earth that, when attacked, is not allowed to beat its opponent. They can only have a truce. They have conducted themselves and their operations against Hamas far more civilly than the Western world did in World War II, than we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. The ratio of civilians to terrorists killed, far, far lower. But it's not enough for the people who hate Israel. 2 years ago today, Hamas, using paragliders in a staging of an attack that had not been seen before, the Israelis having rested on their technology and their laurels to do underground detection of the tunnels and the like, never saw it coming. Concert for peace happening in Israel, Hamas went to, killing a lot of the people there. Going into communities in southern Israel near the border in Gaza, murdering men and women and children, watching children, making children watch their parents being murdered before carrying the children off, babies in some cases being taken back to Gaza, killed in captivity, hundreds taken hostage. Very few of them remain alive, and a lot of them, they're still hostages. 2 years later, they're still hostages. Many of those hostages are dead. Hamas keeping the bodies, refusing to give the bodies back. Israel didn't start this. Hamas started this. I was asked the other day if I could repeat something I said on the radio, and rarely do I humor someone. I tell them to get the podcast or whatnot, but I know how radio is. People float in and out. You got a busy schedule. You're stuck in your car right now in traffic. I said it in the third hour. Some of the stations that carry us live, they don't carry the third hour. They move to local programming. So I want to reiterate this. Someone the other day called in and said, why this anti-Semitism? And I want to add to what I said. But let's start at the beginning. The Old Testament of the Bible is not just a theological work, it's also a historic work. Many of the things that are written about in Chronicles and the Book of Kings have now been documented by archaeologists. For example, there's a throwaway passage in the Old Testament about King Hezekiah. And there was in Bethel, which was a part of Israel that turned pagan, and they worshiped Baal, the pagan god of several of the tribes. Hezekiah marched up there, destroyed the altars of Baal, and converted the area into public urinals and put his seal where the urinals were, that the altars to the pagan gods could not be rebuilt. And within the last 10 years, that little throwaway story, they have found the smashed altars of Baal and the seal of Hezekiah on the public restrooms in Bethel. So you don't have to take my word for it. Look it up yourself. It's true. They found it. We know that there were a bunch of individual tribes in the Canaanite region, and that when the Israelites got out of Egypt, they were a force to be reckoned with, and they went in, crossed the Jordan River. They pushed out the other tribes, and they took the land 4,000 years ago or so. And having set up shop in the land of Canaan, they formed a kingdom, the kingdom of David. It split into two, the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom, and all the archaeology matches up and attests to this. In 70 AD, the Romans, having given the Jews special exemptions, punished the Jews and purged them from Jerusalem and tore down their temple because they were constantly rebellious. The Romans were a polytheistic society, and they gave the Jews and only the Jews a special exemption that protected the Jews from having to worship or make sacrifices to the emperors and the gods. The Romans believed that a god could not be alive. A god had to be a dead thing. And so when the emperors died, they were treated as gods, and you made sacrifices to the emperors, now gods. That's why the Romans thought the Christians were atheists, because they claimed to worship a living person. And the Romans said, you can't. All gods are dead. And here come the Christians say, no, this Jesus guy came back from the dead. They're like, well, then he can't be a god. So he came back from the dead, but he can't be a god. The other gods kicked him out. He can't be a god. You're an atheist. Well, the Christians at first were considered to be a subsect of the Jews and were allowed, under the exemptions of the Jews, to continue to worship. But the Jews got tired of the Christians trying to convert people in the synagogues to Christianity. You can read about this in Acts in the New Testament, which is also history. And they pushed them out of the synagogues and told the Romans, these people are not us. They're not Jews. They're something else. They practice something called the way. The way is not our way. They were eventually called Christians by the Romans. When the Roman Empire converted to Christianity, many of the Christians who were the descendants of those persecuted and some killed still nursed grievances against the Jews and blamed the Jews for their persecution. By that point, the Jews had been kicked out of Jerusalem. And in I want to say 138 or 150 AD, the Emperor Hadrian, who built the wall between Scotland and England, he got tired of the constant Jewish rebellion. They destroyed the temple in 70 AD, and the Jews still couldn't take a clue. So he went into Israel, changed the name from Judea to Palestine, and kicked all the Jews out of it. They were barred from living in Judea at all. They were dispersed around the Roman Empire, except Judea. When that happened, a variety of Arab tribes moved in. Not the descendants of the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Edomites, new tribes. Most of those no longer existed. And together, collectively, those individual tribes began to be referred to as the what? Palestinians. They took the Jewish land. When the Roman Empire converted to Christianity, the Jews were blamed for killing Christ, although the Bible makes clear everybody's to be blamed. The Christians still smiting from having been thrown out of the synagogues in the 70 AD period, blamed the Jews, and they began to make the Jews do things the Christians and Jews together believed were sin. Christians couldn't act because acting was lying. And so they made the Jews be the actors. Christians weren't allowed to lend money. They believed it was sinful. So they made the Jews lend the money. Guess what the Jews got really good at? Entertainment and money. In the Middle Age, a lot of the guilds would not allow Jews to be a part of it. So Jews had to go out and figure out their own things, and then they had to lend the money to the guilds. And they became more and more prosperous. All the while, they began moving back to the land that was now called Palestine. Fast forward to the 1900s, Jews have become fairly wealthy because the Europeans made them all become the bankers because banking and lending money were sins. And the Europeans were mismanaging their countries, but they couldn't admit to their own mismanagement, so they had to blame someone. So they said, look at all these wealthy Jews who are controlling all the banks. It must be their fault. And the 20th century persecution of the Jews ramped up. And by the time Hitler came along, the German economy was in tatters after World War I. He couldn't get it fixed, and instead of admitting he was incapable of fixing it, he said, that's the Jews' fault. Let's kill him. After World War II, they were allowed to go back to the land that the archaeologists all agreed was their promised land, their holy land. Many of them had already started repatriating. The Ottoman Empire allowed them, suffering some level of persecution, to camp out in the Holy Land period, even before World War I. And in 1946, with the rise of the United Nations, it was agreed by the world, given what had happened to the Jews in the Holocaust, they could have their own land. And the only people who didn't like it were the Arabs, and the Arabs tried to stamp them out, and instead the Jews won and expanded their territory. And ever since, the Arabs have pretended to be the victims. But you know what the Arabs don't like? What they hate even more than the Jews? Arabs hate Palestinians. The Palestinians have been labeled refugees because none of the Arab kingdoms that allowed them to come in while they attempted to exterminate Israel wanted them to be citizens or wanted them to be permanent residents, and they forced them back on the Israelis after those people had fled Israel so the Arabs could wipe out Israel. They lost the war, and the Arabs were like, well, you got to take back the Palestinians now. We don't like them either. And they settled in Gaza and the West Bank, and Israel has slowly taken more territory over time. And the Palestinians have themselves to blame, not Israel. But they fester and foster anti-Semitism because it's far easier to blame the Jews than it is to accept your own problems. But here we are now in the 21st century, and you have Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and all these other people online who seem to love blaming the Jews for everything. And you know who they're not mentioning in all of this? China. Do you know on October 7th, 2 years ago, shortly after the attack on Israel began, suddenly a massive amount of anti-Semitic propaganda started appearing on TikTok? The Chinese changed the algorithm and amplified the anti-Semitic message on TikTok. It's no wonder these people who exist for clicks started going anti-Semitic. It's how they get a lot of traffic on TikTok. The Chinese induced the anti-Semitism, and you will note all of the people on social media and elsewhere who are blaming the Jews for Charlie Kirk's assassination, for controlling the United States, for all these other things. None of them are mentioning China. China is amplifying their comments through its TikTok algorithm, giving greater traffic to the people who go full-bore anti-Semitic, and in the process, none of them mention China controlling the algorithm. None of them mention the Chinese spying. None of them mention China. You got a number of people saying, oh, these people are funded by Qatar. These people are funded by Qatar. Some of them probably are funded by Qatar, but they benefit by China. China is spreading the anti-Semitic rhetoric because none of these people are talking about China, and the people who are upset about the anti-Semitism are also focused on the anti-Semitism. They're not focused on China. So China's winning with both sides focusing on each other while China is playing them masterfully. China has a lot to do with the festering anti-Semitism right now because China, like the Nazis before them, they need a scapegoat to distract you from what China is doing. The Jews are not the bad guys in the fight. The bad guys are Hamas and the Chinese and the people who would blame Israel and the Jews. And I would just note one more time for the record that the President of the United States has presented a proposal to Hamas to release all the hostages from Israel. And Hamas's counter is that Israel will have to release all the murderers who murdered the people on October 7th. Kind of a deal breaker. We'll give you back your dead bodies, but you've got to give us the people who caused them to die. Kind of a deal breaker. Hamas is not serious about a deal. We should wipe them from the planet. And you should note again, all the people who are screaming about genocide are not demanding that Hamas give up the hostages. They'd rather, apparently, the genocide to continue. Why is that? Perhaps it's because there never was a genocide, but Hamas needs to be wiped out.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching the road work on the east side perimeter in DeKalb. Left lane blocked both ways, 285 both north and southbound at Glenwood Road, exit 44, causing some delays. Heads up around the airport, just found a crash. It knocks out the right lane, 285 eastbound, the outer loop at Riverdale Road, exit number 60. And then up in Buckhead, traffic lights still flashing red, Buford Highway at Lennox Road. Traffic brought to you by Stone Mountain Park. It's Stone Mountain Park's biggest pumpkin festival ever, with an all-new glowing pumpkin parade now through November 2nd. So much to do, so close to home. Buy tickets or book your stay at stonemountainpark.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll live.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
Hey, contractors, builders, you guys are busy. Do you have time to hang out at the lumber hut waiting for someone in an apron to wander over and ask if they can help you? I didn't think so. You need Randall Brothers. Dave Baker here. Randall Brothers has the widest variety of quality building materials, plus they have the experts on site that understand what you want and will get you the supplies you need and on your way. And Randall Brothers provides excellent customer service. Actually has for over 140 years. Big enough to stock it all, local enough to care. See them on the web at randallbrothers.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
The Scott Antique Markets is back at the Atlanta Expo Center, featuring hundreds of vendors with collectibles and merchandise from all over the world. We're on both sides of I-285, exit 55 on Jonesboro Road. Visit ScottAntiqueMarket.com for more information.
Hey, this is Mark Aaron for Rocco's European Garage. If you own a Benz, Beamer, Porsche, or any European import, do what I do and get it serviced at Rocco's. You'll get better value than the dealership. 6 convenient locations online, RoccosEuropeanGarage.com.
WSB Atlanta. WSB FM and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Greetings and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I got to play you this from Pam Bondi testifying in the United States Senate. Had this exchange with Amy Klobuchar, Democrat from Minnesota.
Senator Klobuchar, I'm not going to discuss personnel decisions, but the personnel issue that I'm having right now is that all of my agents, all of my lawyers are working. My agents are on the street working without a paycheck because your party voted to shut down the federal government.
Oh, good for her. Good for her. Actually, some very interesting testimony from Bondi today, who even people like me who have criticized her management within the Department of Justice are impressed with her ability to fight back on the Democrats. By the way, I got to note this story. Paul Feinbaum, the sports radio and TV broadcaster, did an interview with Clay Travis, who is persona non grata at ESPN, and Feinbaum announced he was considering a run for the Senate in Alabama. I don't know that he actually will, but he was looking at it. ESPN took him off the air afterwards. Not apparently because he was considering a political run, but because he did an interview with Clay Travis. Bobby Brack, who works with Clay Travis at Outkick, noted that they took him off the air for doing a interview with Clay Travis, but they've left on Mark Jones, who tweeted the day she died, Queen Elizabeth was a racist. Tweeted out a progressive bishop calling white people demonic forces of evil. Claimed that white people appropriated Jesus, accused Aaron Rodgers of being a member of QAnon, and Ron DeSantis, a member of the KKK. Claimed that Batman was rooted in racism. They leave that guy on, but they took off Paul Feinbaum for the audacity of being interviewed by Clay Travis. Is there any reason to wonder why their ratings are down? They got some great people there. Peter Burns, Dan Orlovsky, a lot of them, but man, what a difficult place to have to work. Now, your computer might be difficult for you to work with it, and Vision Computer can make it easy for you. If you call them at 404-COMPUTE and tell them Eric sent you, might even save some more money. You go to visioncomputers.com. Anybody nationwide, even those of you listening up in Anchorage, Alaska, you can call Vision Computer and they can take care of your computer needs. They can upgrade your existing computer. They can build you a brand new computer, and they can be managed IT for your company. If you can't afford to have the six-figured in-house salaried person always taking care of computers, well, with Vision, you get real people, not AI. Your employees call a phone number, and faster than a Google search, 15 seconds or less, they get somebody on the phone to help them with their computer. So you have increased uptime, decreased downtime. You're much more profitable as a business because of it. Your employees are great at their jobs, not at their computers. They let Vision Computer take care of that. And by the way, right now, if you're on Windows 10, Windows has announced October 14th they're stopping security updates, so you need to get upgraded, and Vision Computer can help you with that as well. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE, visioncomputers.com.
Everyone has an opinion.
I've had some great Mondays. I'm having a good Monday right now. Look, it's beautiful outside.
Got that nice loud shirt.
Eric Von Haessler has an opinion.
It's a citrusy, summery, I think breezy kind of shirt.
And some advice.
But just remember this.
Eric Von Haessler, today at 3.
I never have and never will smoke a cigar.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Hey, I am Brant, and her name is Sherry, and she's a friend and a colleague of mine, and we were just praying for her, actually, because she had a major surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is Medi-Share. That's
of
right,
course.
yeah.
So what was your experience like with Medi-Share and your healthcare bills?
You know what? It was seamless, and that's such a blessing when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems, and let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in and it's just what you need, it's so refreshing.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people. People love Medi-Share and saving tons of money. The typical family I'm fond of saying, could save $500 a month.
I am so thankful for MediShare. It's so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way, Brent.
It is a good different. Call right now. They're so easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Nelson Exteriors. Law enforcement in North Georgia announcing the arrest of 11 people on charges related to human trafficking and child sexual exploitation. The GBI's Brian Johnston says multiple agencies, including the Bartow and Forsyth County Sheriff's Departments, took part in Operation Hook Hands Off Our Kids. And he says cooperation is crucial.
We cannot do this as an agency alone. No individual agency can tackle this problem.
Now, Johnston says so far this year, the GBI has received 38,000 cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Your weather for today, a little bit of sunshine possible this afternoon. Otherwise, a stray shower is also possible and a high of 82, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. There's been a stabbing at the Fulton County Jail today. The Sheriff's Department saying an inmate stabbed a jailer this morning using a shank. The detention officer expected to survive. The inmate now facing charges. Deputies identifying the inmate but have not yet released the name or exact charges. A double murder suspect behind bars this afternoon in DeKalb County in connection with the deaths of adult siblings.
DeKalb police say the investigation began after officers found a man and a woman dead Monday night at the East Perimeter Point Apartments in Decatur. The DeKalb medical examiner has now identified the victims as a brother and sister, 34-year-old Christopher Lewis and 32-year-old Brandy Lewis. Hours later, 25-year-old Stephen Christopher Mathis was taken into custody by Henry County Police. Police say they believe this is a case involving domestic violence. Mathis is now in the DeKalb County Jail on murder charges. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
President Trump saying today that there was a real chance of a Gaza peace deal as Hamas and Israel negotiators held indirect talks on the second anniversary of the October 7th attack. Top leaders are meeting in Egypt to try and come up with a plan that would end the war and release any remaining hostages. Haley Ott has more.
For many Israelis, their main priority has been getting those hostages home and ending the war. And some people are really frustrated with the Israeli government for not doing more to secure a deal to do that earlier.
Hundreds of people have been gathering in southern Israel today to mark 2 years since the Hamas attack on Israel. 1,200 people killed in that attack. Let's take a look at the market, see how your investments are working for you. We're in the red. The Dow's down 163 at 46,531. NASDAQ's down more than 0.5%, and the S&P's down almost 0.5%. It's 102.
I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. I've been in banking for over 30 years, and my team and I know that businesses have the best results when they work with local bankers who know the Atlanta market. Bankers who will work to understand your business operations and bring good ideas to the table. At Ameris Bank, we do that. I invite you to reach out so we can start a conversation. Visit amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
Hey, I have got an exclusive, money-saving, $29 offer to keep your family safe and warm. Hey, it's Chris Chandler for TE Certified Electrical, Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. After my fall checkup, I have total peace of mind, and you can too. New TE Certified customers pay just $29 for a fall checkup. But hurry, offer ends October 31st.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, buying a car is more than a transaction. It's a 5-star experience because they value you. Enjoy personalized offers and luxury perks, all designed with you in mind. Visit ButlerLexusSouthAtlanta.com or call 800-NEW-LEXUS today. Butler Lexus South Atlanta, the standard of amazing.
It's 1:05. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina, still watching the double left lane construction in DeKalb County, 285 north and southbound at Glenwood Road, exit 44. A little slow in both directions there, getting to or leaving I-20. If you're heading into Midtown, downtown, seeing a little bit of that afternoon volume start to fill in, 75-85 southbound 17th Street, down toward North Avenue, and traffic lights still flashing red in Buckhead, treated as a four-way stop. That's the intersection of Buford Highway and Lenox Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Epwards. A mix of sun and clouds through the course of this afternoon. High 82, mostly cloudy tonight, lows in the mid-60s. Rain showers for the morning commute, then drying out Wednesday afternoon, high 83. Cooling down significantly on Thursday, high 68 with breezy conditions and a partly cloudy sky.
It is mostly cloudy in Winder, 76 degrees, 77 right now in Clarkston. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we have 77 degrees. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, it's Eric Erickson here. Delighted to have you with me. This just hit. I haven't even heard it myself. New advertisement dropping in Virginia against Jay Jones, who, by the way, also we've now got more out about his private conversations. He also told a member of the state house in Virginia that if more cops got killed in the line of fire, they might actually treat other people better. They needed more cops to die to change how police did their jobs. Now let's hear this together.
Stunning new developments in the race for Attorney General. Violent text messages from Jay Jones.
Messages talked about shooting the Speaker of the State House,
saying he would put 2 bullets in Gilbert's head.
3 people, 2 bullets, and wishing violence upon his children.
He wished Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms.
It's not just shocking, it's sick. Jay Jones, dressed up in a suit when he should be in a straitjacket.
Club for Growth Action paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad.
In a suit, should be in a straitjacket. It's not wrong. Not wrong. As I noted yesterday, these were his private thoughts. They weren't for public consumption. He was very candid in how he wants kids to be killed. Now, but you know what? So here's the thing. I've got a prediction. I want to make this prediction. PolitiFact has not weighed in on Jay Jones. Republicans have noted Jay Jones was hoping that the former speaker's children would die. I suspect PolitiFact is going to come out and say that's not true. He never said he was hoping that the speaker's children would die or that he wanted to kill them. Because you see, he actually said hopping, not hoping. He was hopping that the speaker's wife would watch her children die in her arms. So PolitiFact will come out and say, this isn't true. He never said he hoped the kids were going to die. Fact-checked false. That's a lie. You know it, and I know it. That's exactly what they'll do. In fact, you know, PolitiFact has come out and said that it is false that the Democrats want to fund health care for illegal aliens. Why is it false? Because according to PolitiFact, it's going to happen. It's just not the intent. Hackery. We'll get into the media and Bari Weiss and related all of this later. I want to talk about Portland, Oregon, and Chicago right now. I see someone on social media who is telling me, you know it's wrong that the president's sending the National Guard. You just can't say it. So you're just saying, let him do it, but I hope actually he doesn't and let them suffer. No. I actually totally support the president sending troops to Portland, Oregon. In Portland, Oregon, they have been vandalizing the federal courthouse. They have been trying to block ICE facilities. They have harassed employees of the federal government as they've come out of the ICE facility. I think that they should surround the facilities. And if anyone tries to do damage to the facilities, I would say take them out. I mean, you're trying to attack ICE. You're trying to attack the building. You're trying to harass the federal employees doing their job. I am okay with the elimination from the gene pool of the Antifa activists who are trying to harm other people. I am okay with them if the federal government, listen, you're not shooting to maim. You never do that. You shoot to eliminate from the gene pool. They are throwing Molotov cocktails and human feces and urine. They are trying to vandalize. Just 2 weeks ago, they were trying to block the exits from the building and harass any federal employee who was trying to leave at night so that the federal employees fear for their lives. They're trying to stalk ICE agents. They're trying to dox their families. I think the federal government, frankly, is being too kind to these terrorists, and they are terrorists, and they are attempting to terrorize federal employees to try to induce them to stop doing their jobs. And what are their jobs? To round up and deport illegal aliens, many of whom are criminals in this country. Totally fine with the president doing it. And I would notice that one of the tricks the media is playing, much like they did with Washington, D.C., where now it has now come out, even the Washington Post reporting, that it turns out the police really were lying about their data to make crime look better than it was in D.C. And you had people like Phil Bump at the Washington Post previously, he no longer works there, and others using the statistics saying crime's not bad, look at the data. Well, it turns out they were lying about the data, and now they're admitting the data was forged, essentially, to make it look better than it was. Even the mayor of D.C. is out now saying, yeah, actually crime got better when Trump took over. In Portland, Nick Kristof, who is from out there and had a failed gubernatorial bid, Nick Kristof of the New York Times is out there dancing around the city saying, I mean, there's nothing wrong here. Look at these neighborhoods, these lily-white, pristine, wealthy neighborhoods in Portland. He's intentionally not going where the problems are around the federal building. He's intentionally avoiding the homeless encampments. He's intentionally avoiding the drug dens. Others have gone out there and they've seen how bad it is. In Portland, Oregon, commercial real estate in downtown Oregon suffered because everybody went home during COVID and nobody wanted to go back to work. And when businesses started getting people to go back to work, they couldn't go back to work because they were dealing with the homelessness and the drug problems and the vandalism in downtown Oregon. Downtown Portland, Oregon has the worst real estate market in the country. And what the left is saying is it's because of COVID. In the year of our Lord, 2025, it's not all work from home people. A lot of it is the problems with crime and homelessness, with the drug addicts, but the left can't acknowledge it. They have an alternative fact-based system that is not grounded in reality. So I do have to say, part of me thinks just let it rot. What the Republicans should do in Congress to reopen the government is insist that no Medicaid funding can go to illegal aliens, nor can any state use state money to help illegal aliens. Why? Because federal money is fungible. The states will just use the federal money to help the citizens and the state money to help illegal aliens. So no money in Medicaid, state or federal, can go to assist illegal aliens. You know what's going to happen? Sanctuary cities and sanctuary states are going to be overwhelmed. Right now, you and I are essentially subsidizing their sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. So I think prohibit Medicaid funding at any level from going to cover the cost of health care for illegal immigrants. And then let Chicago and Portland do what they do. Let them have their sanctuary cities. Let them pay the price. If they want to be overwhelmed with the drug lords and the drug addicts and the homeless and the schizophrenic And the good white people of Portland and Chicago that living in their ivory towers are perfectly fine with it. They never come outside from their secure buildings except to get straight into the limousines and chauffeured car services. Let them deal with it. Let them deal with it in New York. So I think Mamdani getting elected in New York is going to be a great thing. Let the progressive white people in the press corps who advocate these things around the country deal with the consequences in their own backyard. Let them finally feel it. They don't have to feel it in L.A. and San Francisco and Portland and Seattle and Chicago. They all live in New York, so let them feel it in New York. Let them have it. You know, by the way, I saw some speculation online, and I actually think there's credibility to it. Chicago is actually home to hub activity for the drug cartels from Central America. How many local officials and police are getting bought off? How many of them are making money off the cartels operating through Chicago? I mean, given Chicago's history with the mob, it wouldn't surprise me. Here's an anti-ICE protester in Chicago.
Buenos días. Good morning. My name is Corina Pedraza, and I'm a member of the Southwest Side Rapid Response Team. CORINA PEDRAZA. I want to thank first the community members, educators, students, business owners, and elected officials present today. Alderwoman Julia Ramirez, Alderwoman Helu Gutierrez, Cook County Commissioner Alma Anaya, State Representative Aron Ortiz, and School Board Member Yesenia Lopez. For the past month, the Chicagoland area has been the target of aggressive immigration enforcement through Operation Midway Blitz and Operation At Large. We have seen firsthand how our communities are being terrorized every single day by agents who are kidnapping people, brutally stripping them, snatching them from streets, their cars and homes, and separating families.
Poor woman. Show us on the doll where ICE hurt her. They're rounding up illegal aliens. They're rounding up illegal aliens. This is the governor of Illinois adding to the hysteria of these people.
I spent the days and weeks following that out and about in our communities, in Bronzeville, in Austin, in Little Village, Berwyn, South Shore, and others, walking and talking and listening to real Chicagoans and local business owners. Something Donald Trump, Greg Bovino, Tom Homan, and Kristi Noem have never bothered to do. No insurrections, no invasions. The folks in the neighborhoods do not want armed troops marching in their streets. When it comes to public safety, they want civilian law enforcement when they need them, and jobs, and after-school programs for kids in the neighborhoods. They do not want Donald Trump to occupy their communities.
Actually, they would like to be safe. And they're obfuscating what's going on here. So I got to play you this exchange from Boris Sanchez on CNN with Stephen Miller. This is just too good not to play.
Is it the case that, as Pritzker frames it, you are
stunning
profiling
new developments
brown
in the race for Attorney General?
that this
Violent
immigration
text messages.
crackdown is designed to go after people of color?
That is it's such a, oh, what a dumb question. The illegal aliens who are here are taking jobs away from blacks, they're taking jobs away from whites, they're taking jobs away from Latinos, they're taking their health benefits away, they're taking their school slots away, and of course in many cases they're committing heinous crimes. We cannot have a system of law in this country that privileges illegal aliens over American citizens, and that's what they're doing. You know it, and I know it.
So that's not exactly a no, Stephen. Can you just unequivocally state that the immigration
I said it's a dumb question. Okay.
Well, I appreciate that, but
and it's a dumb question.
So no, this policy is not designed.
I thought when I said it was a dumb question, it meant no.
Well, I just want to be clear and precise. I appreciate you trying to qualify my questions, but nevertheless, I think it's a fair one that a lot of people have.
My full answer is no. That is a lie, and it's a dumb question.
Also, can I just speculate that after putting up this long with both Elon Musk and Stephen Miller, that might be why Donald Trump suddenly wants to find a cure to autism? I'm just saying. But it's just such a good response. Yes, it was a dumb question. They're just making stuff up and throwing stuff out there, trying to get people to be whipped into a frenzy about Donald Trump in Portland. You got CNN out there roaming the streets of the areas where there are no problems to report there are no problems in Portland while avoiding all the areas of Portland where there actually are problems. It's funny how they do that. You cannot trust the press. And I do have to say, given what we know about the cartels in Chicago and the behavior of Chicago politicians in the past, I think it's relevant to wonder if some of them might be getting some money under the table from the cartels, which is why they're going to bat to keep all of them there.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
120 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Double left lane construction continues on the east side perimeter, 285 north and southbound. The outer loop at Glenwood Road, exit 44, slow in both directions into and out of Clarkson. You also have left lane roadwork I-20 eastbound approaching Panola Road, exit 71. You're tapping the brakes as you leave Wesley Chapel for the commute out to Lithonia. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. True Natural Gas offers low rates, excellent service, and a loyalty program called True Rewards. See for yourself at TrueNaturalGas.com, where they appreciate their customers. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
$1,000 on WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
That is awesome.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
You've seen them, holiday decorations already up in the stores, trees, wreaths, even the big inflatables. I'm Chris Chandler. Wise Guys Pro Wash keeps my home's exterior looking great, and now my clean home will shine when they put up my holiday lights. They make it simple. Custom design, they provide the lights, install everything, and when the season's over, they pack and store it for me. First-time customers book by October 15th. Mention my name, Chris Chandler, and you'll get $100 off installation. Let Wise Guys Lights brighten your holidays this year.
This is Wes Moss from Money Matters. You know, retirement is a lot like football. The best teams don't just show up on game day. They've got great coaches and a smart game plan. Without one, things go off the rails quickly. At Capital Investment Advisors, we would act as your retirement coach, building both the big picture strategy and the detailed plays that aim to help you score the retirement you want. Don't go into retirement with a bad playbook. Visit us at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR-wealth.com.
Finding trustworthy people to properly fix your septic system can seem hopeless. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. Don't give up hope. Just read some of our 5-star reviews. Your neighbors know my trustworthy team will solve your septic problems on the spot.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic. Never a pump out charge with your repair. Get a free quote at ScorpionSepticServices.com.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
I'm thrilled with my Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns inviting you to North Georgia Replacement Windows' brand new Alpharetta showroom. I was blown away. Bring your window and door project to life here. See the fiberglass difference in person. Your stress-free experience includes a quick, accurate proposal, no pressure. Window and door shopping made simple.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Hey, I am Brant, and her name is Sherry, and she's a friend and a colleague of mine, and we were just praying for her, actually, because she had a major surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is Medi-Share. That's right,
of course.
yeah.
So what was your experience like with Medi-Share and your healthcare bills?
You know what? It was seamless. And that's such a blessing when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in and it's just what you need, it's so refreshing.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people. People love Medi-Share and saving tons of money. The typical family, I'm fond of saying, could save $500 a month.
I am so thankful for Medi-Share. It's so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way, Brant.
It is a good different. Call right now. They're so easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Greetings, welcome. Let's get to the phones. 877-973-7425. David in Jacksonville, you're up next. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Eric? Really enjoyed the show.
Thank you.
The reason I'm calling is the Republicans are saying that that some states like California are using federal funds, to pay for non-documented health care. And they come back and say, no, that's against the law, which it is, and we don't do it. Well, as you know, there's a not-for-profit 501c3 whatever in D.C. called the Paragon Health Institute. They wrote a report in March of this year, I think, and evidently there's some kind of a swapping of money based on some kind of a physician's tax or something, and then that kind of gets reimbursed, and then they file to the feds to say this is what we spent. And I'm probably describing it all wrong, but something like that, where they can say, nope, we don't get any money from you because they're using it for something else. Are you aware of that? I'm sure you are.
A little bit, yes. You've got healthcare reimbursements in Medicaid, and I mean part of the problem here is the fungibility of it. This is something that J.D. Vance got into on social media the other day, that you can say the federal money is not paying for health care for illegal immigrants, but when they do their reimbursements, they're doing their reimbursements for citizens who use the ER, for example, and then using state funds for the illegal aliens using it. But they couldn't use the state funds unless they were tapping the feds to cover the costs for the citizens. So yeah,
what I was going to suggest is I think an outside auditor needs to go to California and any other states that they think are doing this and actually show, and they call it money laundering. Show what they're doing because it's go ahead,
David, you got to keep in mind that the money is fungible, and as a result of the money being fungible, the feds can kind of do with it as they wish to do with it, and the states can too, and they really can't stop them from doing it. So now I've totally lost the call screening computer. So well. Now, let me tell you about Old Glory Bank, my bank. They can be your bank as well. They have no-fee checking, no-fee savings, and they've got great accounts. If you're a veteran, a first responder, if you're active duty military, they can waive some fees for you, particularly active duty military. You can get premium accounts at no fee. If you're a business, you never have to worry about your business account being closed because progressives have decided they don't like your business and they get the bank to shut it down. OldGloryBank.com. OldGloryBank.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply. It really is my bank. You can go to OldGloryBank.com/Eric today. get an account from Old Glory Bank. You get the account, you sign up, and you get checking, you get savings, you can do mortgages, you can do CDs, you can do car loans. They're a regular bank, and they really are my bank. I've enjoyed using them. They have a great app. You could even deposit cash, though they're an online bank. They've made it very easy for you to do it. Check them out today at oldglorybank.com/Eric, oldglorybank.com/ERICK. You can thank me later. And again, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
After suspect refuses to exit home on Summer Chase Drive.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the median on the jam cam.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The major culprits squeezing household budgets for auto insurance, gasoline, and utilities.
Your 24/7 news source. Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. A Fulton County jailer is in the hospital this afternoon after being stabbed at the troubled Fulton County lockup. The sheriff's office saying the jailer was stabbed by an inmate using a shank. The officers expected to make a full recovery. That inmate facing additional charges. Your weather for today. Clouds thinning out, a little sunshine possible this afternoon, and a high of 82, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Republican and Democratic lawmakers continuing to point the finger at one another as day 7 of the government shutdown looms over them. Republicans believe the House-passed continuing resolution is the Band-Aid to allow more time to talk over a permanent solution that President Trump will sign. Democrats, meantime, say that they were never part of the process and want their voices heard. Atlanta police are seeking the public's help in identifying suspects involved in a robbery that happened during an Atlanta Falcons tailgate party in a parking lot on Northside Drive back on September 28th. This afternoon, a new video showing a dispute leading up to that attack and the robbery of several people. Photographs of the suspects have been released. Witnesses are urged to come forward. Anonymous tips will be submitted to Crime Stoppers Atlanta with a potential reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to arrest. And there's no data backing up claims that IV hydration spas are giving folks a detox that they think they're getting. That's according to a new study today published in JAMA Internal Medicine. The study shows the industry is operating under very little regulation and that clinic providers may not have the proper training. People pay to put vitamins and minerals into their bodies as a detox at IV hydration spas. The co-author of this study says that there is a real danger to consumers because there is little oversight. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently down 147 at 46,547. NASDAQ is also down more than 0.5%, and the S&P is not far behind. It's 132.
You know the saying, age before beauty? Well, many Atlanta homes built in the 80s and 90s are really showing their age and not so much beauty. Roofs are leaking, windows are drafty, paint is peeling everywhere, and that front door, well, might as well say Y2K, here we come. So many projects, and that means hiring a bunch of contractors, right? Wrong. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. When you bundle several projects with Exovations, you can save time, money, and coordinate everything all at once for a truly stress-free experience. From the roof shingle at the top to the last drop of paint on the bottom, Exovations does it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, gutters, and more. And with Exovations, you know we'll do your project on time, on budget, and without all that stress you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free consultation today at exovations.com and bring your home into this millennium.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877 Cars for Kids.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
If your floors feel bouncy and uneven, it's time for AquaGuard Foundation Solutions Crawl Space Experts. Simply go to aquaguard.net and set up an appointment. It's fast and it's easy, and your floors will appreciate you. AquaGuard, the trusted local experts. Remember, AquaGuard.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way, because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Did you know the water pressure regulator is the heartbeat of every home? It can affect all things in your plumbing system, and when it's not regulated, it is the main cause of most plumbing problems. They only last about 8 years. Have Superior Plumbing check yours.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Hey, Sabrina. Still watching the double left lane construction both ways into Cab. 285 both north and southbound at Glenwood Road, exit number 44. We also just found some traffic lights flashing. They're malfunctioning in Sandy Springs on Roswell Road, right at Georgia 4, right at I-285, I should say. Make sure you treat that intersection as a four-way stop. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 82. Rain showers arrive after midnight, lows in the mid-60s.
We'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
737-425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be delighted to have you. Don't forget to text ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777 and get the show notes, the live stream, the podcast, and so much more. I got to play you some of the audio from Pam Bondi before the United States Senate today. This is the Attorney General and Senator Blumenthal.
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You
you.
admitted you
I am
lied
not
to be
accusing you
elected
of
a U.S. senator.
impropriety.
You
I'm asking
lied.
you
How
about
dare you? I'm a
conversations
career prosecutor.
with
Don't
Mr.
you
Ballard,
ever challenge my integrity.
There was the Klobuchar one, and then there was this as well. My buddy Rob Bluey from the Daily Signal caught this.
On September 15th, our partners at ICE arrested an illegal alien from Mexico for beating a 21-year-old man to death. He had been imprisoned in Illinois prior to the murder and was released under Illinois' Trust Act. We filed multiple lawsuits in Illinois for sanctuary policies, specifically in-state tuition for illegal aliens and obstructing employers from verifying citizenship. You can't make this up. On September 5th, a federal grand jury in Chicago indicted a major Sinaloa cartel boss, narco-terrorism, guns, and drug charges. On July 11th, we announced a guilty plea for Ovidio Guzman Lopez. You may know him as the son of El Chapo, one of the worst narco-terrorists in the world. In the world, senators. In Chicago. He entered a guilty plea to drug conspiracy and 2 counts of knowingly engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise in the state of Illinois. I could continue with fentanyl. I could continue with child predators in Illinois.
It is a problem. It's very much a problem. And I really just, I wonder if we just need to let it fester. I appreciate the president want to do it, and I understand why the president wants to do it. The president actually wants to be able to show that he, as president, is able to make cities safe that Democrats have given up on making safe. It is commendable. The president wishes to show he can do better than them. And by the way, I think he can. And I think that the proof is in the pudding when it comes to Washington, D.C. The President of the United States has shown a measurable improvement through his actions with crime in Washington, D.C. And I think that he should go to Memphis, as he's doing now, and make Memphis safe again. Then go to New Orleans and do the same thing. Make Memphis safe again. Make New Orleans safe again. Go to Shreveport, Louisiana. Make Shreveport safe again. Go to St. Louis. Make St. Louis safe again. Go to Kansas City. Make Kansas City safe again. blue cities and red states, where the local politicians, many of whom deal with corruption internally, some of whom are themselves corrupt, make them help clean up their cities, align their police forces, and show everybody else that it can be done in places where the Democrats seemingly have given up. And that's part of the problem here, is that they have given up. The Democrats have. The Democrats don't want you to even think that they can clean up cities. Here's the exchange between Dick Durbin and Pam Bondi.
Your city has a murder rate 5 times higher than New York's. 571 homicides last year. If you were serious about protecting your people, you would be asking this administration for help. You're saying that we're coming into your state and your city. We're there to help make America safe and Illinois safe, whether or not you want to.
Yeah, look, I think that's great, except at some point the Democrats keep voting for this stuff. So why are we using federal taxpayer dollars to bail out cities where the local population has voted to have crime? Where the states have voted to have crime. Go into a blue city in a red state like Memphis, where the locals have given up, but the state hasn't, and the state says, come help us clean up the city. Go in, clean it up, and show Chicago, show Los Angeles, show these blue cities in blue states that, look, it's safe in Memphis now. And when the jobs start leaving Chicago for Memphis, which per capita actually has a higher murder rate than Chicago, think about that. You're going to watch those cities suddenly have to take crime seriously. It's a great juxtaposition. Allow those cities in red states to be cleaned up. Also, I want to play you this. This is from WGN Chicago about what's happening in Chicago as the criminal element there, frankly, with the blessing of the local government, raises the stakes.
So we have other breaking news that we're following this afternoon. A high-ranking member of a street gang is charged with putting a hit out on a senior law enforcement official involved with Operation Midway Blitz. Police arrested 37-year-old Juan Espinoza Martinez this morning. And according to the U.S. Attorney's Office here in Chicago, Martinez sent a Snapchat message stating, quote, $2K on information when you get him and $10K if you take him down. The Tribune reports the alleged target was Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino. A court date has not been set.
Y'all, they're raising the stakes on this. I mean, either go in and actually fight them and take them out, or leave these local governments to turn into third world hellholes and you go fix the blue cities and red states. I think it makes sense to fix the blue cities and red states first. I mean, the Republicans voted for Trump, so go into the cities in those states and clean them up, make them safe for Trump's voters. Illinois did not vote for Donald Trump. Leave them to the horde. And then when you see that these red states with blue cities are suddenly safe to go into at all times, day or night, then maybe the citizens in those cities and those states will realize they got problems. The intervention they need to have comes after you've shown what's possible in other areas. So go fix those other areas first. Now, we got to change gears because there's also other news out there that 12 Republican members of the Senate were spied on by Jack Smith. Senator Loomis, I think of Wyoming, has been on Fox News this morning discussing this. And just let me play you some of the audio here.
All right, John, let's bring in Wyoming Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis. She was one of the lawmakers reportedly targeted. Welcome to you, Senator. President Trump putting on his Truth Social on this. Deranged Jack Smith got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. A real sleazebag, he wrote on Truth Social. Not mincing words, what say you?
Well, I would say President Trump is spot on. This was an effort by the Biden administration to violate the constitutional rights of United States senators. This is blatantly unlawful. There's a specific law, often referred to as Section 1984, that's used for violations of civil rights when they're conducted by the government. My civil rights were violated, as were the civil rights of other U.S. senators. This has to be investigated. I have in front of me the very memo that we found out about yesterday. And the names of the people who approved the surveillance of our senators are blocked out. I want to know who approved this. I want to know if Merrick Garland was involved, if Christopher Wray was involved. I want to know if the White House was involved. This is unconscionable. This is a violation of law. This is a violation of senators' constitutional rights. It must be addressed.
Yeah, it's actually a very big deal. And you know what the Democratic spin is? The Democratic spin is, well, they thought that these people were complicit in helping Donald Trump break the law on January 6th to overturn the election. To my knowledge, this came about from Jack Smith at a later date, not on January 6th. I think it's a pretty big deal that the Biden administration was using Jack Smith to spy on Republicans. A little bit more from Senator Loomis.
We supported President Trump.
Senator, shock was the word that your colleague Ron Johnson from Wisconsin used earlier today on Fox Business. Listen.
It should shock, it should outrage every American. Quite honestly, by now, it should be obvious to every American that it's not the Republicans that are a threat to our democracy. It's President Obama, it's President Biden, it's the radical leftists that have served and support them.
So the FBI tells Fox that his team tracking the senators were able to see which phone numbers they called, Senator, the location the phone call originated, to your point a moment ago, and the location where it was received. What other information have you been given from the FBI about the tracking that occurred?
I only know what you just recited. And so more work has to be done, both by the FBI and the Department of Justice, as well as those of us who are on this list, to find out what were they after. Did they think we knew something that they didn't want us to know about the 2020 election? I mean, obviously your mind goes in a variety of different directions, but it all leads to one place. What Ron Johnson said is right. It is the Democrats who are now accusing Republicans of being insurrectionists and garbage and using terminology for us. They were deploying the very techniques they're accusing us of doing.
She's not wrong, folks. Senator Grassley very upset about it. He was not one of the ones involved, but there appear to be 12 Republicans that the FBI was targeting, and the Democrats in the media are waving it all away. Say, it's no big deal. I mean, they could have been involved. They could have been part of a criminal conspiracy. They needed to know. They will defend. Look at what they're doing with Jay Jones. The very same Democrats are not backing down on this either. The very same Democrats who are excusing the spying on these Republicans are like, well, I mean, Jay Jones may want to put bullets in the head of the former Republican speaker, but they're all insurrectionists. They're doing every sort of excuse. The Democrats are the authoritarians they've been warning us about for quite some time. The Democrats are the authoritarians they've been warning us about. They're spying on Republican members of the Senate. They're listening to their conversations. They're seeing who they called and when they called them. They're trying to find patterns. And by the way, it should be noted, they found nothing. They found nothing. We know they found nothing because you know and I know the Biden team would have absolutely outed them, leaked, shamed them, used the National Press Corps to weaponize them? Absolutely. And they didn't, because there was never a there. It was just the Democrats making stuff up to try to spy on the Republicans, by the way, who were running for office and in elections. It's like what they did in Watergate, the Republicans snooping on the Democrats. It's the Democrats using the FBI to snoop on Republicans in an election.
When the truth Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
149 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center, still slow in DeKalb, 285 north and southbound. You got that left lane construction in both directions near Glenwood Road, exit number 44. Crash pushed off to the right downtown, 7585 southbound and North Avenue, exit 249. And just found a new crash. It's in the right lane, Highway 166 eastbound, approaching Highway 29. Traffic brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find the looks, all for under $30 with new arrivals every day. You never know what you'll find. Find a location at macy'sbackstage.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Y'all, it's Eric. Windows 10 is sunsetting. End of support on October 14th of this year. It's also my anniversary. No end of support for my marriage, just end of support for your computer if you're on Windows 10. You got to update. Now, what does that mean, end of support? It means Microsoft is going to stop issuing security patches for your computer if you're on Windows 10. So you actually do need to update for your own good and safety, and Vision Computers can help you transfer to Windows 11. How do you do it? You call them at 404-COMPUTE and say, Eric sent you, I need some help. They can get you upgraded to Windows 11. It is for your own good and safety and that of your company that you move to Windows 11 because of the security updates, if nothing else. So call Vision Computer at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You might be able to save some money. You got to get it done before October 14th because you're not going to get security patches from Microsoft after that for Windows 10. Let Vision Computer take care of you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
Shopping for windows and doors shouldn't feel like a full-time job.
Or like you invited someone over who never leaves.
It's Ted and Jonathan from North Georgia Replacement Windows. We offer a stress-free experience.
That means quick, accurate proposals without pressure or pricing games.
Plus, a detailed window installation that is quick, clean, and hassle-free.
Window and door shopping made simple with 0% interest available.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah.
This is Mike Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers.
And this is Jonathan Geller. Dad, we're celebrating 86 years in Atlanta this month. People are always asking how you've kept our prices so low.
Well, I haven't bought a new suit since 1982.
I don't think that's it.
We go straight to the source. Diamonds, jewelry, gemstones. There's no better value than D. Geller & Son.
In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
When your air conditioner or furnace breaks down, the last thing you need is more surprises. That's why at Jape Services, you'll always get a free estimate with honest, upfront pricing. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and we've helped thousands of your friends and neighbors with their heating and cooling needs, and our reputation depends on offering the best solution. Whether you need maintenance, repairs, or a new system, call the company you can trust, Jape Services.
Count on us, Jape Services.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Reach-in closets, walk-in closets, pantry spaces, garages. With a custom spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. All your stuff neatly organized and designed to stay that way. Call the Closet Bomb Squad, Artisan Custom Closets. They'll diffuse your clutter and make it safe to enter your closet again. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello there and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. 877-973-7425. I want to go to Steve's phone call. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Hi, Eric. I'm good. Thank you for taking my call. I called you a couple weeks ago after Tulsi Gabbard submitted the criminal referral on the Obama cabal, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, and the gang. And I asked you if you thought that Pam Bondi had the testicular fortitude to indict these people, prosecute them, indict them, and all that. And you said clearly, no, she doesn't. And I'm wondering now, in light of the senator spying scandal, if you've changed your opinion.
No. I think that if the president pushes the issue, yes, there will be indictments, but I don't think the DOJ is otherwise going to do that for the institutional reason of protecting the institution, which I don't think should be protected. But as the Attorney General, I suspect that she's going to. It's notable that when they released the report on the spying, they redacted all the names of who was involved. Institutionally out of the gate, protecting the individuals who were involved, so that the senators are now going to have to even go through further efforts to try to figure out who it was that authorized the spying. And whoever it was, Biden probably pardoned on the way out the door anyway. So I don't know that they can. And the other issue is also the statute of limitations based on when it was actually authorized. So there are all sorts of legal problems beyond. I don't know that Bondi has the will to pick this fight. She may want to suck up to the Republican senators by doing this particular fight. But you first got to get the names from an FBI that is in the corner of Donald Trump at this point, having fired a lot of the senior executives and still redacted the names, heading them to the Senate. Then you got to figure out the statute of limitations and what is the actual crime. Because if the individuals were involved in doing this, got the permission of the higher ups, well, they had permission, and they can always say it was legitimate operation. You also have to remember something else, and this isn't a partisan point about Bondi. It's just a reality. It's very, very, very tough to actually get a guilty verdict in this sort of stuff. Because there's lots of nebulosity and there's qualified immunity. And in qualified immunity, unless this thing has been done before and ruled unconstitutional or illegal, the next guy who does something, if there's no almost exact precedent, can say, I got qualified immunity. There's nothing you can do. And they're not going to get rid of qualified immunity because it actually is a useful thing. So, yeah, whether I think Bondi has the guts to prosecute some of the people I think should be prosecuted or not, and I don't think she does, in this case, it's just a very hard lift for any of these people to be prosecuted because of the internal restraints and the way the law actually works when it comes to this level of sort of government corruption. It's a very difficult burden. And when you look at take, for example, some of the prosecutions made by the Biden administration of high-profile people that you and I would have even agreed with, like the Sean Combs, the P. Diddy stuff. A lot of that stuff, you get not guilty verdicts. There's a black eye on the Justice Department's ability to prosecute some of this stuff. Now, I want you to get involved in protecting American prosperity and reminding you prosperity is possible in this country. If we can have some permanent reform, we can explode energy production in the country. Americans for Prosperity is leading the fight to get a bipartisan, common sense deregulation legislation passed to make permit reform possible to speed up the building of power plants and pipelines and other energy production in this country, as the left is trying to block it all and prevent us from being able to build out data centers and build out power supply to supply the data centers. If you go to prosperityispossible.com, brought to you by Americans for Prosperity, they're going to provide you with the pathways into members of Congress to get them to pass this bipartisan permitting reform. The reform is necessary to expedite the building of power plants and pipelines in the country. All you have to do is go to prosperityispossible.com today, sign up with AFP, get involved in their army of activists around the country.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story, Hands Off Our Kids. Operation Hook leads to the arrest of 11 people on charges related to human trafficking and child sexual exploitation in North Georgia. The GBI's Brian Johnston says multiple agencies, including the Bartow and Forsyth County Sheriff's Departments, are among those teaming up.
We had over 80 law enforcement personnel participate in this operation over the weekend. So it takes a lot to put all that stuff together.
Johnston says the GBI's received 38,000 cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children this year. It is 76 degrees in Atlanta. Do we see rain for the morning commute? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Atlanta police are trying to identify suspects involved in a robbery as Falcons fans tailgated prior to the game with the Commanders on September 28th. It happened in a parking lot on Northside Drive. Videos show a dispute leading to an attack and the robbery of several people. Police are releasing photos of the suspects, and we posted them. And now at WSBradio.com, anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. They could be eligible for a $5,000 reward. A detention officer is in the hospital today after the latest violence at the troubled Fulton County Jail. The sheriff's office says the jailer was stabbed by an inmate using a shank. The officer is expected to make a full recovery. The inmate is facing charges. Censorship is so 1984. Read for Your Rights is the theme for National Banned Books Week.
Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, all some of the most challenged books in the country. Amanda Sanders works at the South Cobb Library branch and says those titles and others are in the spotlight in the American Library Association's Banned Books Week.
1984, as well as The Handmaid's Tale, and even newer titles like Genderqueer.
The 1984 theme was chosen because of a surge in the number of book challenges. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
The city of Woodstock is taking part in National Night Out, an annual event aimed at promoting police-community partnerships. Audrey Jones with Woodstock Police says the event is from 5 until 8 tonight in downtown Woodstock.
We want families to come out. It's a festival-style environment, so it's great for the whole family.
There will be a helicopter there, as well as games, music, and food. She says events like this help build trust between neighbors and law enforcement. It is 2:02. This news is sponsored by Brett Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
October is here, and this is a perfect month for home comfort. Dave Baker for Coolray Heating and Cooling. See, in October, it'll still get plenty warm during the day, but it will get cool at night. So with the purchase of a complete Carrier system, Coolray's offering up to $2,250 back in rebates and free installation. That's heat, cool, and free installation. Get a jump start on keeping your home comfortable. Book your appointment online today at Coolray.com. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, President of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Jeff and Roxanne here, proud and local owners of Rhino Shield, the ultimate exterior coating for your home.
Rhino Shield isn't just paint, it's better than paint because it will keep your home beautiful, backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. Plus, it comes in any color, even your wife's favorite.
Visualize Rhino Shield on your home and get a free estimate at rhinoshieldga.com.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey y'all, it's Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I'm so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. And Four Seasons Home Care was so helpful to my family throughout the process. I get emails from listeners all the time and why I trusted Four Seasons Home Care. They tell me I don't want just anyone to care for my parents. Well, of course you don't. So here's why I work with Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company. They vet and hire every single one of their caregiving specialists, and they don't farm out the care to contractors, and they're not some national corporation. So here's my advice, folks. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. Do your homework. This is a huge decision. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather in the 24-hour traffic center. It's Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. We are still watching that double left lane construction into DeKalb County, and as the afternoon gets along, the delays are getting worse. Left lane blocked both ways, 285 north and southbound at Glenwood Road. Southbound use slow before Memorial Drive. East and northbound delays from Flat Shoals, and a crash in southwest Atlanta on Highway 166 Langford Parkway eastbound right at Highway 29. Right lane is blocked there, causing a few delays as you head over to the downtown connector. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 82. Rain showers arrive after midnight, lows in the mid-60s.
Right now, 76 in Marietta, 77 in Covington, and 79 in College Park. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is stock. S-T-O-C-K. Go to the WSB radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is stock. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Oh, rapid roar, that stock car boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It's another exciting hour of the Erick Erickson Show from Alaska to Florida, from Connecticut to California, all over the United States, except Hawaii, because Fisher just hasn't been as productive as I expected him to be. We're working on Hawaii. I need to go. I've never been to Hawaii. The one time I was supposed to go to Hawaii was when I got those blood clots, and they said I couldn't be on a plane for 6 months. So I need an excuse to do a market visit to Hawaii. Maui, Waikiki, somewhere, the North Shore there where they have the black sand. Somewhere. I'm just saying. In any event, the phone number is 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, if you text the word Erick, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, get everything you need to follow along with us. I want to talk about Bari Weiss and CBS News. I know her. We've been on Bill Maher's show on HBO together before. We have interacted. The Free Press has published my work. She's actually reached out a couple of times. I sent her a note the other day, said I was rooting for her and praying for her. The left is making this out to be some sort of massive conservative takeover of CBS News. I think they've got it really, really wrong. Did you know that Bari Weiss worked at the Wall Street Journal? And when Donald Trump won in 2016, she cried. She realized she probably didn't need to work for the Wall Street Journal, and she moved over to the New York Times. And it was at the New York Times where I think Bari Weiss wouldn't use the phrase perhaps, but was mugged by reality. She's a liberal. She's a lesbian. She is Jewish. She lives in New York. She's liberal. She's just not a woke progressive. She is way more moderate than the people who would have otherwise been her allies, and their treatment of her at the New York Times, because she is actually committed to voices across the political spectrum and not just those on the left, they shunned her. They were nasty to her in Slack chats. She finally wound up resigning from the New York Times. And she left the New York Times mostly because of the disparagement of progressives against her, where she was charged with amplifying a diversity of voices for New York Times readers, among other things. And that she did not become MAGA, but it opened her eyes to the discrimination of people who may not see eye to eye with her. It opened her eyes to how progressives in the press try to control a narrative, and they do not like to encounter voices that might shatter that narrative. And that led her to the free press, among other things, where she has shown a willingness to allow others to express views that she may not agree with, but that are within the mainstream of the various political parties. One of the things that the left does in this country, and they have allowed themselves to play the role, is for the left to be the arbiter of what is acceptable elsewhere. You see this, for example, with the commentary on Jay Jones, the Democrats' attorney general candidate in Virginia, where you have the never-Trumpers at the Bulwark insisting that any of those of us who changed our minds on Donald Trump have, quote-unquote, no moral authority. Never mind that they were never really with us on anything else. They had an R next to their name, in many cases by convenience. They weren't really with us otherwise. And now they've decided that they get to police us. The left gets to police us. The left tried to take me off of CNN. The left were incensed that Meet the Press had me on regularly and pressured them to take me off there. The left likes to decide who are the acceptable voices on the right. My view has always been, and Bari Weiss's view is, the left should police the left and the right should police the right. And if neither side polices themselves, they become more extreme. And, well, those voices do become the mainline, mainstream voices of that party. You see it happening on the left now. And frankly, it's one of my concerns on the right, as the right refuses to police its own side and has embraced the idea that the left has. The left progressives have this idea, no enemies to the left of me. On the right, you're seeing people come up with that, and suddenly you've got anti-Semitism flourishing. You've got socialists on the right now who want the government takeover of private businesses. They want to wield the power of government. There is a horseshoe theory in politics, and you know, for a very long time, the horseshoe theory in politics was something that many mainstream academic political scientists rejected. The idea has always been that on the outer extremes of the left and the right, they are basically the same people, that it is a horseshoe. I've always called it a circle, that you get to the furthest ends of the left and the right and they meet. They're a bunch of wackadoo progressive anti-Semites who both want to use government to expand their own power. And by the way, it's true. You see it playing out now. Bari Weiss started the Free Press, and it's been bought by Paramount. And Larry Ellison, who owns Oracle, the billionaire owner of Oracle, his son David, I think his name is, involved in Hollywood. They bought Paramount, CBS. And they put Bari Weiss in charge of it. And the left is having an absolute meltdown that the woman who left the New York Times might suddenly clean up the news at CBS, where the left, by the way, I should note, has largely controlled the political narrative. Go back to Dan Rather. Go back to the National Guard memo on George Bush that cost him his job. Literally, this is a quote. One of the people has said, "She is richer in social clout than in Emmys or Pulitzers." That's Jessica Testa at the New York Times, who, by the way, wrote a piece about Bari Weiss and lies. Her very last line here is talking about Bari Weiss at a Federalist Society meeting. "I know that there are some people in this room who don't believe that my marriage should have been legal. And that's okay because we're all Americans who want lower taxes." That's how Jessica Testa at the New York Times, who covers non-traditional and emerging media. She's, I think, the Taylor Lawrence replacement and sounds just as psycho. That's the way she leaves it, except if you read the actual transcript, she was telling a joke. You wouldn't know that from the New York Times, and other writers have seized on this last line to suggest that that's what Bari Weiss was saying, and it's not true at all. The people who were in the room produced the transcript, and she was clearly making a joke. They can't handle now, this particular writer, Jessica Testa, can't handle that Bari Weiss has now, with the sale of the Free Press to Paramount, made more money in one transaction than this young lady will probably ever make in her lifetime. And they do not like the fact that she could be cleaning up CBS News, which, again, remember the Dan Rather scandal over the George W. Bush National Guard memo caused him to be ousted. They've only gotten more and more progressive. They're the third place TV news, and they have been ever since Walter Cronkite left. CBS News has always settled for third place because they had 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes last year produced a piece about German censorship laws and did not have a single person that they interviewed who was concerned with Germany's level of censorship. Think about that. They did a piece that was pro-German censorship of misinformation and disinformation. They never allowed an alternate viewpoint. Bari Weiss has singled out that piece, among others, as saying this is evidence of the need for reform at CBS, that all voices should be respected, and that whoever the Republicans listen to is a person that the left should listen to, and whoever the left listens to is someone the right should listen to. The left should not get to say you can't platform that person on the right if the person on the right is someone the right itself has platformed. They don't like that. What's very notable is that the reporters at CBS News have begun leaking their concerns. You know who they've leaked their concerns to? Left-wing news outlets. The American Prospect, Mehdi Hassan's group, MSNBC. That kind of tells you everything you need to know, that when the reporters, the supposedly objective reporters and editors and producers are concerned and they want people to know about it, where do they go with their concerns? To left-wing news outlets. They're not leaking to Fox News. They're not even leaking to CNN. They're going to far left outlets to voice their concerns. And that, by and large, does suggest that they don't want reform. Trust in the American media is now less than trust in Congress. More people in the United States of America would like a bacterial-resistant strain of syphilis than trust the American media. That tells you everything you need to know about where trust in the media is. And the media needs an intervention, but they don't want it. They're resisting the intervention. Bari Weiss is the intervention. She's of the left. She's a Jewish lesbian from New York City whose views lean to the left socially in this country, and yet she's too far right for the people who run the newsroom at CBS News. That should tell you just how far left CBS News and MSNBC and elsewhere have gone. I want to play you a good example of what I'm talking about here. This is Nicole Wallace on MSNBC having a conversation about a judge in South Carolina whose home burned down. There were a couple of people injured. The judge herself was not at home at the time. I believe it's a beach house vacation home, and they were on vacation when the house caught on fire. It's very important, I think, for you to hear the conversation that played out on MSNBC where Nicole Wallace speculated that it could have been a right-wing vigilante who burned it down. Why? Because the judge had been critical of Donald Trump in South Carolina. There has not been any evidence. In fact, a lot of people in the press rushed out to suggest that it could have been a right-wing person who burned down the home because of this judge's criticisms of Donald Trump. And now the police in South Carolina have come forward and said there's no evidence that this was arson.
When we come back, what we're learning about the fire that destroyed the home of a South Carolina Circuit Court judge who faced criticism from Trump officials after a ruling she made against the Trump administration. It comes amid a surge in hostility and threats against judges, as well as criticism directly from the Trump administration, including for Judge Goodstein, after she temporarily blocked the Justice Department from accessing the files of millions of registered voters in South Carolina. Mary McCord is still with us. Mary, what questions do you have based on what we're hearing so far?
You know, this is the kind, again, we've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings, we're in a very, very dangerous position in this country. And it makes judges fearful. It makes prosecutors fearful, as we know. It makes others in positions where they could be criticized by Donald Trump fearful. And he needs to know the power of his voice and how people respond to that. We've been saying this for years, Nicole, but if this is what this turns out to be, some sort of politically motivated act of domestic terrorism, then, the importance and significance of the things that Donald Trump says about a person just, again, will be demonstrated in this.
Now, I want to go back because this is very important. Listen to the opening here again of this person with Nicole Wallace.
Yes. Mary, what questions do you have based on what we're hearing so far?
This is the kind, again, we've talked today already about crossing Rubicons, right? And when you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings.
When you're starting to attack judges because of their rulings, the South Carolina law enforcement now says, this doesn't appear to be arson. And yet the presumption on MSNBC is that it had to be an attack. Now think about this. When Donald Trump was shot on MSNBC, the conversation as the bullet was in the air was how he's a tyrant who needed to be stopped. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the conversation on MSNBC was maybe this was someone on the right who did it. And now the assumption is that, again, maybe this judge was targeted because she criticized Donald Trump, and it turns out it's probably not arson. This is a sign that the National Press Corps actually needs an intervention. And when Bari Weiss is hired at CBS News to clean up the editorial direction of that network, which has drifted very far left, probably further left than ABC or NBC in terms of the broadcast national news, they're squealing like stuck pigs. If nothing else, if the editorial direction of CBS News is able to change, if Bari Weiss can clean this up, and there's a ratings improvement at CBS News, it's a clue to the other networks how to improve their ratings. And here's the thing, I don't think they'll do it. I think CBS News will become the dominant force in broadcast news as people move there, and ABC and NBC will scream that it's totalitarian right-wing hatred, and they'll refuse to clean up their act.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Delays getting worse on that east side perimeter with left lane construction continuing both ways, 285 north and southbound in Glenwood Road. Also in Tucker, we got a crash working in the middle of the intersection, Highway 29 at Fellowship Road. You can use La Vista Road to scoot around that. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. True Natural Gas offers low rates, excellent service, and a loyalty program called True Rewards. See for yourself at TrueNaturalGas.com, where they appreciate their customers. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is stock. S-T-O-C-K. Go to the WSB radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is stock. Join me live at 3 for the Von Haessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Want to save 1,000 bones on your next roof? Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Right now, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. FindlayRoofing.com.
This is Andy Harris, president at Coosa Valley Credit Union, where we believe in the power of human connection. When you call us, you're not greeted by a machine, but by a real person who's here to listen and assist you. Coosa Valley Credit Union. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
Hey, this is Mark Aaron for Rocco's European Garage, where I've been taking my car for service and repair for years. If you own a Benz, Beamer, Porsche, or Audi and want your vehicle serviced right, quickly, and for good value, go to Rocco's European Garage. Their certified techs will pamper your vehicle like it's their own, and their work won't void your car's warranty. Pricing better value than the dealership, and they won't try to oversell you on what your car needs. Take your car to one of the 6 convenient locations or online, Rocco's European Garage. EuropeanGarage.com.
You know the saying, age before beauty? Well, many Atlanta homes built in the 80s and 90s are really showing their age and not so much beauty. Roofs are leaking, windows are drafty, paint is peeling everywhere, and that front door, well, might as well say Y2K, here we come. So many projects, and that means hiring a bunch of contractors, right? Wrong. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. When you bundle several projects with Exovations, you can save time, money, and coordinate everything all at once for a truly stress-free experience. From the roof shingle at the top to the last drop of paint on the bottom, Exovations does it all. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks, gutters, and more. And with Exovations, you know we'll do your project on time, on budget, and without all that stress you usually hear about in construction. Schedule your free consultation today at exovations.com and bring your home into this millennium.
There's no need to be scared of stains in your carpet when you can call Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. It's Patrick, owner of Zerorez. Zerorez cleans without the use of harsh soaps or spooky chemicals, leaving behind clean carpets safe for the entire family. For a limited time, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $129 when you mention WSB. That's right, 3 rooms of carpet clean for $129. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, it's the right way to clean.
It's the hardest working part of your home, your garage door. When it fails, you need someone you can trust. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. When the largest and most important opening of your home breaks, don't hire a schmo. Call the local name you know, All Four Seasons. Ask your neighbors. We offer upfront pricing, free estimates on all major brands, and 24/7 service. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Having trouble getting in to see the doctor? Wait no longer. All Care is here. All Care is expert immediate care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs at 15 Atlanta area locations. And best of all, we are fully staffed and ready for you when you need us. Same-day appointments are available and walk-ins are welcomed. Or schedule an appointment at allcare-ga.com. Say goodbye to waiting to see the doctor and say hello to All Care, a proud member of the Piedmont Integrated Network Clinic. When it comes to your home, quality is crucial. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. Quality comes first. We have the most experienced exterior craftsmen in the industry.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Well, Donald Trump is coming under fire from Democrats again, which I think is one of the funniest things. You just got to listen to the comment that's drawing the ire of Democrats today. It's the comparison.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting calls from Democrats wanting to meet. I never even heard their names before, and they're claiming to be leaders. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia, okay? You know? And I met the president of Somalia. I told him about the problem he's got. I said, you have somebody from Somalia who's telling us how to run our country. From Somalia. He said, would you like to take her back? He said, no, I don't want her. Okay, you know who I'm talking about? I'll tell you what, I'm getting...
Oh my gosh, he's under fire for that. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. The president of the United States. When we come back, got to talk more about the aviation slowdown that is beginning to happen in the country. Sean Duffy has just been explaining why. It's not actually the administration that's doing it. It's the situation with the shutdown. We'll get to that audio when we come back. First, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them for less than $200. I kind of needed to deploy mine last night. So on Sunday, the kids wanted burgers and onion rings. I make fantastic onion rings, by the way. I really do. And so I made French fries for my daughter because she doesn't like onion rings, made onion rings for everybody else. And the house smelled even yesterday like the fryer because I had to do it inside because of the rain on Sunday. So got to do the Eden Pure Thunderstorm because it wipes out those odors. They get into the couch, they get into the fabric, and it just still smells like cooking oil from the kitchen. And the Eden Pure Thunderstorm generates ozone, which also can get into the fabric and get into the couch, and it touches the ionized particles we know as odor, and it wipes them out. And you can get 3 of them. They're very small, very compact. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm, you get 3 of them for less than $200. They also kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses that get pulled through the machine as it recirculates the air, gets rid of pet dander and dust and pollen. But I use it as an odor eliminator, and it genuinely is effective at odor elimination. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. You put in the discount code ERIC3, ERICK3, at EdenPureDeals.com. You get 3 of them, upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV. I always keep one in my travel bag. EdenPureDeals.com. Plug it into the wall, plug it up with a USB cord. It packs a wall up, 3 of them, less than $200. Discount code ERIC3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
When the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by them.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News.
Weather.
Traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. 2 social media trolls facing federal charges after they're accused of posting threats targeting an ICE deportation officer in Georgia and his wife. The U.S. Attorney in Atlanta accuses Frank Wazut of posting a video on Instagram identifying and displaying photographs of that ICE officer who works in North Georgia. Also, Patrick Noto accused of posting a comment under the picture of the same officer's wife. 11 people in North Georgia are arrested on charges related to human trafficking and child sexual exploitation as part of Operation Hook, Hands Off Our Kids. The GBI's Brian Johnston says multiple agencies, including the Bartow and Forsyth County Sheriff's Departments, took part, and he says cooperation is crucial.
We cannot do this as an agency alone. No individual agency can tackle this problem.
So far this year, the GBI has received 38,000 cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Police identify the brother and sister killed in a domestic shooting in DeKalb County. The victims, 34-year-old Christopher Lewis and 32-year-old Brandy Lewis, were found at the East Perimeter Point Apartments in Decatur. The suspected shooter, 25-year-old Stephen Christopher Mathis, is now in custody after his arrest in Henry County. Today marks 2 years since the October 7th attacks in Israel, and Ian Pannell reports talks aimed at negotiating a peace deal between Israel and Hamas are continuing.
Those talks are now into their second day. The Qatari foreign minister just speaking, saying they lasted 4 hours yesterday. Everyone feels that it's still on track, hoping a deal by the end of the week.
It's 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Hey, if you're bringing some friends over to tailgate this fall or cook out or having the family for Thanksgiving later, do what I've just done and call Wise Guys Pro Wash. They've gotten my house and driveway, my patio spotless, even the wooden gates out back. They even cleaned the roof, and I didn't even have to be there. The crew used the top equipment in the industry in their soft wash and kept my home safe and damage-free. You call them. First-time customers mention my name, Chris Chandler, and book now to get $70 off your first wash at wiseguysprowash.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Your deck is more than just a place to flip a burger or have a cup of coffee. It gathers your friends and family on all your favorite occasions and is there to enjoy every day. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors, and we build beautiful, high-quality decks at a reasonable price. We're licensed and insured, provide exceptional customer service, design help, and we'll work with the materials you want. Strength, durability, beauty. Decks done differently. Built by Nelson Exteriors. Get your free estimate. Google Nelson Exteriors.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Trouble near the home of the Braves. It's a crash on 285 north or eastbound. The inner loop right at I-75 blocks the left lane of 285 east and the entrance ramp to the express lanes there. So that's starting to stack up the ride back through Vinings. If you're traveling 285 into Cab, still got left lane construction both ways at Glenwood Road, and a crash working to clear out of the intersection on Highway 29 Lawrenceville Highway at Fellowship Road in Tucker. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 82. Rain showers arrive after midnight, lows in the mid-60s.
Right now it's 80 in Midtown. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Tackling politics and culture with clarity.
Hello, welcome. I want to talk about air traffic control for a moment because it is political and it's not. It's complex, but it's simple. Oh, yeah, the ironies abound. The Democrats continue to keep the government shut down. They will not vote for a clean continuing resolution, which the Democrats have always said you must do. They won't negotiate with terrorists, they've said in the past. They won't negotiate with hostage takers, they've said in the past. Now they're the hostage takers. They're like, give us what we want, or the government stays closed. Republicans not biting. Well, the problem is that federal employees, many of them are considered essential, and they have to go to work, but they're not getting paid. And over time, well, they scale back activities of some employees in the federal government because of the lack of pay, and it begins to slow things down. So not all TSA agents show up at work. Not all FAA flight controllers show up at work. And some of them just say, screw it, I'm not going. I'm not getting paid. It becomes a problem. What they're trying to do is to spread the situation out and minimize impacts, but what in process they're doing is targeting areas of Democratic control so the voters in those areas feel the pain the most. So it's going to happen, and the question is, how do you contain it and spread it? Well, the Republicans spread it to Democratic areas first. That includes Atlanta, Georgia, where I am. Two Dead Mares International Airport is going to see more problems than elsewhere. I had somebody who's very funny when I started the show. I was talking about this at first, and he's like, I flew out of Atlanta to Washington and then Vermont. I didn't have a problem. Everything was on time. You're lying. It's talking points. He missed the part where I said starting today. It's only going to build over time. The beginning is today, and places like Los Angeles are having the problems, and it's going to come to other parts of the country. This is Sean Duffy. He was on CNBC earlier today talking about this.
I have to advocate for them as well to say, listen, this is the reality of America. They are under pressure. They provide great services to us. And by the way, when your plan's delayed or you're canceled, they're the ones that are making sure that you don't fly when it's not safe. They're the ones that make sure we get to where we're going. And so I'm going to advocate for them. Again, let's open up the government. There's the conversations and the fights that are happening are about issues allegedly that are going to come to fruition at the end of the year. Open up the government, take the months to have a conversation and negotiate, but let's not use this as leverage with hardworking Americans that keep our sky safe for political benefit. I have to advocate for them as well.
That's Sean Duffy on CNBC, and then he also went to Fox News to have a discussion as well.
I'm here at Newark Airport, about to go up into the tower and talk to some of our air traffic controllers. Now, we have a government shutdown, but that doesn't mean that airports shut down or controllers don't come to work. They're coming to work every single day to make sure that our airports are safe and our flights actually fly.
This is the promotional video that he shot before
How
going
does
on
the
Fox.
shutdown impact controllers and towers like this, not just in Newark, but around the country?
I think the biggest thing is, it's just a distraction that we don't need.
Adding another distraction of, hey, this is a government shutdown, who's going to be coming into work, our support staff isn't coming in. When that funding runs out, they do a ton of things to make sure that we're safe.
If I have a wife that doesn't work, 2 kids at home, if I don't get a paycheck here in a couple of weeks, I still have to provide for them. So it's not something that I want to have to be thinking about.
That's him talking to the FAA controllers before he goes on Fox News.
They work 6 days a week, right? So we don't have enough controllers, so they have to work overtime. And they're family people, right? This is their living. They're concerned now if they don't get their paychecks. How do I pay my mortgage? How do I pay my car payment? What do I do to put food on the kids' table? So the controllers yesterday were saying, we actually have to think about working 6 days a week, and then do I go out and take an Uber job and try to make extra money to put the food on the table? All because Chuck Schumer is trying to have this political fight instead of saying, let's do a clean CR, let's open the government up, let's have a conversation about what Democrats want to talk about, but do that over the course of the next several months. Don't shut it down and affect our airspace, our controllers. Again, it's a huge problem. And again, Burbank, 0 controllers came to work. I don't support that. They should come to work. They're supposed to come to work. But they didn't even miss a paycheck yet. So why aren't they coming to work? I mean, it's only been 6 days. So, the paycheck, the pay cycle ended yesterday, right? Their paychecks come next week, and they see what's on the horizon, Brian. They're like, listen, do I see a resolution to the shutdown? I don't see it. So guess what? I'm concerned about my own life, my own family. And what we do is say, again, I want people when they travel to get to where they're going. So if we don't have controllers, we're going to make sure the airspace is safe. So what we do is we'll slow traffic, we'll shut down traffic. And that's what you saw in Burbank. We saw, significant delays because controllers weren't there. They work 6.
Yeah. If they stop showing up because the pay period is ended, well, then, okay, they're not going to show up for work. Could they get fired? Yeah, they absolutely could get fired, but there's already a shortage. And this is the thing that I think the Democrats, well, I'm sure the smart ones have paid attention to it, but there is a flight traffic controller shortage in the country. We don't have enough because, remember, the Biden administration decided to racially discriminate and they wouldn't hire white controllers. There weren't enough non-white controllers to meet the quotas, and so we just weren't hiring air traffic controllers. The result being we're behind on hiring, we're behind on training, we don't have enough. So when flight controllers decide they're going to stay home because they're not getting paid, it has a cascading effect in the system, and it's starting to happen. As of today, it's beginning to happen, and it's only going to escalate. And so what's going to happen is that they will cancel flights and they will slow flights going in and out of major areas of the country in order to maintain distances of planes, in order to maintain safety. This is because of the Democrats' decision to shut down the government. The Democrats, I literally just got this email as the Sean Duffy clip was playing, are saying, well, a majority of voters blame the Republicans. It doesn't matter who the voters blame. The reality is it's the Democrats who've done this. The Democrats could vote tomorrow for a clean resolution, and the government would reopen, and they know that. And they're hoping to advance this health care argument. And to some degree, I think they are having traction. I mean, Republicans are getting nervous about it. Republicans are trying to cut a deal. You've got the president already out there saying that he wants something done. And the Democrats just flat out deciding, give us our way or no. And the Republicans aren't going to give them their way. So there's going to be more pain. As I said earlier in the program, I think Tom Cotton of Arkansas is right that the Republicans on Capitol Hill are going to cut a deal, but the Democrats on Capitol Hill are not going to reopen the government until after October 18th because of the progressive nature of things. Now, on top of this, there is an economic issue. The Economist, YouGov, they've got some polling out. Take it for what it's worth. But 53% of Americans right now believe the economy is starting to get worse. Now, there is some economic tie-in here over tariffs. Remember, the president has 50% tariffs on aluminum right now. One of the major aluminum plants in the United States, the fourth largest producer of domestic aluminum, had a fire and took it out of manufacturing. A buddy of mine who's in the auto industry sent me this note. A fire at a Novelis plant in New York last month has eliminated 40% of sheet metal production in the United States. Their biggest customer is Ford, and much of that aluminum goes in the F-150, their most popular and profitable vehicle. Sheet aluminum is stamped into body panels and other parts. Now the automaker has to source aluminum on the spot market. Most of that comes from overseas and is subject to a 50% tariff. This isn't just going to affect Ford, though. They're the hardest hit, but Coke and Pepsi, HVAC equipment makers, and other makers use sheet aluminum, and 40% of aluminum production in the country is now offline due to the fire at Novelis. So prices will go up. Now, part of the reason you're not seeing the price increases so many economists had said you would see is because a lot of companies decided that they couldn't raise the prices at the level they would otherwise raise them because you couldn't afford to buy the products. And so they're eating the cost. But in eating the cost, they can't raise wages. They can't give pay raises. They can't hire. They can't invest in their company. They can't reinvest in their company. So the companies are going stagnant and profit margins are down, which is also affecting the stock market for some of these companies. You know, outside of the top 10 stocks in the S&P 500, the rest are stagnant right now, and the tariffs are making it worse. So you do have this economic situation that is going to be compounded by a government shutdown, because a government shutdown does eat into the GDP of the nation. You would think that the private sector could go gangbusters when the government shuts down, and I like government shuts down because we're safe from the regulators, but that's part of the problem. You can't get regulatory sign-off for the pharmaceutical companies right now because the government's closed. You can't get federal permitting done right now for the oil companies because the government's closed. You can't get federal permitting for power companies' new construction because the government's closed. You can't get regulatory approval for the airlines for route changes because the government is closed. Because the government is closed, any private business that actually needs regulatory certification from the federal government for any reason whatsoever right now can't get it, which means they have to slow down. And because they slow down, that takes out of the economy. On top of all of that, you've got the increases in prices for consumers with groceries. Grocery prices are going back up. You have entities in the country right now that are slowing down their hiring. You have entities in the country right now that have slowed their investments. So you got the tariffs, you got the slowdown in the economy, you got the shutdown in the federal government. There are warning signs about the economy on the horizon. And the benefit that Donald Trump has right now is that he can blame the Democrats for it. He can say because the Democrats shut down the government, the Democrats have to own what's happening to the economy. I don't know that Americans will appreciate that level of economic argument. The upside for the Republicans, however, is that people hate the Democrats more than Donald Trump. People do not like the Democrats right now. The Democrats do not have a leader to articulate a vision for the country. The Democrats can be blamed for what is happening, and they can own it. It's going to take Donald Trump out there making the case, and I think most people will believe it. Because, again, a majority of Americans, they don't like Donald Trump. I know you like Donald Trump passionately, but like 53% of Americans disagree and don't like him. But that's still more than the Democrats. It's up to like 70-some% to 80% with people who don't like the Democrats. So if Donald Trump says something, even though people may not like him, they still like him more than the Democrats, and they're still got a higher propensity to believe him. So if he comes out and there is an economic slowdown, even if it's tariff related, he comes out and says it's not tariffs. It's the government shutdown. The Democrats did this. People are going to believe Donald Trump. They're not going to believe the Democrats. He has the opportunity to define this with the Democrats. And the great reality is the Democrats are the ones voting to keep the government shut down. And when you start traveling this week and you see more and more delays over the next 2 weeks, it's because the Democrats have the government shut down. When the TSA lines are overwhelmed at the airports, it's because of the Democrats. When you as a federal employee don't get your paycheck at the end of this week, if you're in the military at the end of next week, it's because of the Democrats. And the Republicans can make that message. This Friday, federal employees should get paychecks. Non-military. Military payroll is next week. And when the checks don't come on Friday, and they're not going to come on Friday, the Republican talking point is very simple. If the Democrats would just reopen the government, you would get the paychecks. We keep voting to reopen the government. Democrats do not. It becomes a very compelling message when the paychecks don't show up on Friday in people's mailboxes or their bank accounts.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
249 Cool Rate Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Got this crash we're watching in Cobb County. It's on 285 eastbound, the inner loop, right at I-75, exit number 20. The left lane is blocked, as well as the entrance ramp to the express lanes. That'll take you up further into Marietta. Left lane construction still there in DeKalb, 285 north and southbound, the inner and outer loop at Glenwood Road, jamming up the ride both ways. Traffic brought to you by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Get away this fall to Pumpkins at Callaway, glowing with day to night fun happening now through November 1st. Book your stay today at CallawayGardens.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news.
is where you'll live.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
Oh my God!
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
I just won $1,000.
Just enter the word at WSBRadio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5 p.m.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. Mm-hmm. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Football season is heating up on Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code ROAM and get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Text Eric to 33777 and get the 4 Things You Need to Know podcast. Eric tells you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Also available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. So a funny thing happened. I find it very notable. This morning, instead of writing a big post about the second anniversary of the October 7th attack, I just put a tweet up. 280 characters of just the Israeli flag emoji. And it's flooded with accounts replying $7,000. I'm like, what? I don't understand what this is replied to. Well, one of them, and I assume it's a bot, has now put up, it says, Israel has deposited $7,000 in your account. You got that? So you say anything in defense of Israel, and the anti-Semitic bots all over social media say that you are getting paid by Israel to defend Israel. I wish I want the big pharma money, and I want the Jewish blood money. I can't get the Jews or big pharma to pay me. I keep getting accused of being on the payroll of both of them because I'll defend them, but I'm not actually on the payroll. I don't get the money. I mean, I should be a wealthy person able to fly a private plane, given the amount of money the Jews have supposedly paid me over time. And on top of that, I should have my house on the beach in Sea Pines in Hilton Head from Big Pharma. And I don't. I'm clearly a bad businessman. Clearly, I'm not Jewish, I guess. The amount of money I'm supposedly being paid under the table by these people to defend them, as opposed to it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. You know how many people are alive thanks to Big Pharma? They get assailed by the faith healers of the day that, oh, if you would just live your life this way, you wouldn't get sick. It's clearly the sin in your life that's caused you to be sick. And meanwhile, that person's taking high blood pressure medicine. Thanks to Big Pharma, they're not having a stroke. My wife gets her chemo for her very rare cancer. And then, I mean, how can you not defend the Jews? They didn't orchestrate anything to deserve what happened on October 7th. You know, it's weird. The juxtaposition here in the spin is that Gaza was a third world hellhole because of Israel before October 7th, but now suddenly Gaza is a third world hellhole because Israel bombed it, and look how glorious it was before Israel bombed it. You notice how they changed that spin. Gaza was actually in a prison camp before October 7th, and now Gaza is just this dilapidated place because of October 7th. They'll never admit the truth. They're just a bunch of liars, a bunch of anti-Semites. You remember it was Israeli citizens who were murdered on October 7th, not Palestinians, not Hamas. Be on the side of the righteous, be on the side of Israel in this cause. Here, the second anniversary. If you take some of the Hillsdale history classes, you'll find out more about these topics. You go to ericforhillsdale.com today, and they can set you right. It's education. It's not indoctrination at Hillsdale College. You go to ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com, and you sign up today with Hillsdale College. They have 40 classes to choose from: history, chemistry, math, economics, literature, theology, political science, philosophy. They're all there. You can take a great one on the Federalist Papers, a really good one on capitalism, and each class is a series of 30-minute episodes, depending on the class, depends on the number of episodes, by Hillsdale's great faculty. They're entertaining and stimulating lectures, and you watch them and you learn about a topic you're already interested in. You do it completely for free from Hillsdale College. You get a certificate of completion when you're done. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today. Hillsdale will educate you. Hillsdale will stimulate your brain, and they will make you smarter about an issue you're interested in. ERICK, Eric for Hillsdale.com. You guys have a fantastic rest of the day, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Hey, I'm Chris Chandler. You can protect yourself against hackers. Clark Howard knows how. He'll tell us when Atlanta's Morning News starts at 5 Wednesday. Plus, government shutdown latest, looking for any sign of progress here on 95.5 WSB.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
If you feel like you just can't handle your bills every month, there's something that's just clear as can be. In fact, I saw a chart of the United States recently laying it out. How much cheaper it is to live in certain states versus others. I mean, it's crazy cheaper in a lot of states versus others. And then I compared what people earn at a typical job in states that are cheaper to live in versus states that are really expensive. And the difference in wages in no way made up for the difference in higher living costs in expensive places. If you're not married to where you live right now, and it feels like there's never enough money for your bills, why don't you look at whether you want to relocate to a place that would be a lot cheaper to live?
I'm Clark Howard.